Hello, NWF wrestling fans. We are here live again for the first time in a while. We got a bit of a hiatus, but we are back and better than ever, as you can see. But I know you all missed the most amazing part of our show, and that's the introduction. So let's get straight into it. That's my favorite ones. I think it's going to be the best one I've ever done. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your new NWF World Heavyweight Champion. I am the longest reigning NIPW Junior Heavyweight Champion. I am the fifth man on the NWF Mount Rushmore. And I am the now heart and soul of the NWF, your main host, the Canary Kid. And I, of course, to my left, he is the 5-time former NWF World Champion. He is the slowest counting of all referees. And he is, of course, as we all know, the ultimate schmuck. He is Schmucker Crossen.
I thought maybe you would actually introduce me properly this show, but I guess I'm wrong.
I left out something. My co-host, Schmucker Crossen. There you go.
And I guess since we're putting all these accolades out there, you did mention 5-time former champion,
Yeah.
but also the longest reigning NWF world champion over a year. So you got a few records you could work on breaking now that you got that belt. And Canary, we're not going to be at the request of Ricky, we're not going to be in character today, but we are going to stay in character for just a minute because I got a few things I want to say. I couldn't help but notice your promo that you did for Johnny when you first got the belt about a week ago.
Yeah.
And in that nice promo you did there, I happened to hear that you would take on all challengers, newcomers, or those going into a retirement match. Didn't catch my attention. Canary, let me just say this. I hope you weren't insinuating you want Crusher Crossen to come back out of retire and do a retirement match. I never had one. And because I don't want to ruin this for you. I mean, you just got the belt. I don't want to take it that quick.
Look, see after, let me pull up the curtain here for a second, ladies and gentlemen. I know you guys saw bits and pieces of clips on Rewind, but for those who didn't, after watching Crusher and training with us, I can tell you right now, I'm more than happy to admit I don't want the Crusher match. Didn't think the guy could still go. I'll leave that to someone else. I think John's in the line right now, so we'll leave it to him or something because didn't know Crusher could still go.
Well, I mean, I'm not what I used to be, but yeah, I can still go. I can still do it.
My dropkick's better.
Right now it is. And we'll talk about that when we get out of character. But once I'm still in character, it was so good to be in that ring again.
Yeah.
Not just reffing the match, but the training and all that stuff, and being able to. I had no idea I was going to be working with you guys. I knew I was going to be working with the kids, and not that I can show you guys much, but to be able to show you a little something here and there was kind of cool, and I enjoyed it.
It's not about right. I saw you were saying with Dave and stuff, and I saw Dave was trying to top you up to get his little bit of say, and he's like, if you're going back, you should show them this.
You're going to try to show some pin move or whatever. I'm sure they've seen it.
Yeah. But the thing is, we may know at our training, especially like the advanced people, we may know how to do 100 different moves. However, it's every person that could come into our training could show us a new way to link it together because you're not always taught how to link spots together. It's something you just know. That's one of Nathan's big things. He says we can do. Basically, we can wrestle better than Nathan can. That's one of Nathan's big things. A lot of our guys can. He always says I can do it. He always says Dylan can do it. He always says John McCann can do it.
Yeah, he's told me the same thing.
Yeah, but the thing with Nathan is he's got that mind that's really good with linking things together and really good at helping us mesh everything. And that's what makes him really good to train with, is that he helps us basically. He knows we have more pieces to our puzzle than he has, but he knows how to put the puzzle together better than anyone else.
Yeah.
And that's Nathan's thing.
Nathan always tells me he was just an average wrestler. He's a good trainer.
Oh, he's a great trainer, but yeah.
Yeah, that's how he words it with me anyway. But I was going to say, and Nathan, as I was leaving Ireland, I'm getting messages and stuff from a lot of people, and Nathan being one of them, and he's saying, you know, you got to come back in, and goes, next time you come back, work a match.
He's really working for that. He's really working for it.
Well, you know, he wants to see Crusher versus Canary. I know he does, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Who knows?
You people don't need to know just yet.
Yeah, it's all in the. Who knows? We'll see what happens, because as far as you know, I'll talk about it at the end of the show. But next week or 2 weeks, John McCann's going to come in for Canary while Canary's off to Canada, and we'll have John McCann. Yeah, he's going to be in here for 3 shows.
I wish you all the best. I'll say some prayers for you all.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to talking to John. I've always liked John. We'll see how it goes. I don't know about his new heel style. We'll see. You know, sometimes I get into it with you, and Patch, I'll get into it with him too.
Look,
but
all I'm gonna say is, say what you want about me doing heel actions, but when you look at what John's been doing, I didn't beat anyone up after their first win.
Here's got a problem. Mary's got a problem with beating people up. I'll say that. That's just behind the scenes talk. But there's one thing I want to say before we get out of character, and that is that I seen what happened last week. Now, Ben Nelson, I don't know where your head is here, but Ricky, your back was turned and he tossed you out of the battle royal.
Yeah.
Now, what the hell's going on here? Ben, I've been supporting you for a long time, and I'm just looking at this from the outside. You didn't let go of the handshake at that table. You caused it to flip, really, if you think about it. Now, you did the right thing in the match, and then now it's back to where you were at with the table. I mean, what's going on? Here's the thing, Canary. Best friends, or friends in general, don't throw you out of battle royals when there's multiple people left. If it's just down to you two, it's one thing. That's an act of war when somebody does something like that. And I have a whole different mentality when it comes to that kind of stuff and advice. You wrestle your friends with respect. You wrestle your enemies to win at any cost.
Well, me and Ben got backstage after that, and you know, I'm assuming for the people who were at the Charity Slam event just last week, they saw, yes, me and Ben did get into it a bit, you know, in our last appearance in front of everyone. But once we got backstage, we slowly started to cool down, and you know, we realized that it was just us trying to one up each other. We saw it as friendly competition. That's how Ben described it. And you know, I trust Ben a lot. He hasn't done anything directly to break my trust. Yes, he's done actions that I'm like, Ben, what are you doing? But at the same time, that's Ben's experience shown. Been in the business long enough, you know, he's had loads of matches, but at the same time, he just has those little bit of things he needs to brush up on. You know, he lets that, you know, year and a half that I have on him show a lot.
You know what I see, and I'm going to tell you, I see a bit of jealousy right now with Ben. I see the fact that he just took that upon himself when your back was turned to throw you out because he's still mad over the match. I think Ben, even though he shook your hand and everything and was cool at the end of the match, I think there's a part of Ben that's resentful. He wanted that belt and he didn't get it. That's what I see. I'm just saying this, Canary, you better watch your back and you better start looking at who's your friends and who are not your friends going forward. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on it. But I trust Ben.
For now. All right, guys. Let's get out of character now, because Ricky didn't want to do character stuff today. We want to talk about just the fact of what happened and everything, and the whole experience and everything from the title match. Plus, I got training footage to show. Both of the kids and Mitch got me training footage of the adults when I was with you guys. And also, of course, the match itself. We're going to watch the match. My version's a little different than the one you just seen on the channel, on NIPW's channel, because I corrected the audio a little bit better. So
perfect.
Although we're not going to hear it so much because we're going to lower it because we can talk, but when I put it up on our channel, it'll be a little bit better. So yeah, there were some issues behind the scenes, and we don't even need to get into it. But as far as the technical stuff goes, that's why the audio is a little kind of distorted a little bit. But now Mitch knows he can send the WAV file to me and I can fix it. So, going forward, if that ever happens again, I'll get it corrected before they put the upload in there. So, are you there?
Yep.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm just.
I just thought you were froze. You were like I thought you froze.
I'm still as ever. I'm just fixing something here.
I'm on pins and needles with the StreamYard because I don't want to make sure it's working.
Yeah. We don't know what's going on. Yeah, I get you.
But yeah, so we're gonna watch the title match. It was great. First of all, it was just a great experience going out there. I got the Ireland shirt. I should have got a Northern Ireland shirt, but I got this at the airport in Dublin, and I got the Ireland shirt, and I got it was just a great experience going over there. I was hoping, I was gonna say I even got a $5 for 5 time, but this is a euro.
That's a euro.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same. So, and then if I'm wearing my Stevie Fee autographed hat, is what I got on. And
oh, is that you fanboying over Stevie now? Yeah.
Yeah. Because Stevie, I think it was Stevie's the one I demonstrated the 1, 2, 3, the one that first move we went over.
Yeah.
And I think it was Stevie I did it too, and I think that's where I got Crusher's a little bit of bruised ribs, everybody, because I came down wrong. I should have turned, and I came down on my side on him, and I hit the side of my ribs. And
then Crusher decided it wasn't for him to ever go back in the ring again.
Oh no, I'd do that again in a heartbeat. Are you kidding? I just have to remember to turn is all.
I'm just saying, ladies and gentlemen, if Crusher does get back in a ring, you will be shocked, because we all were. I can tell you that for sure.
Were you guys really?
Oh yeah, we couldn't believe it. We could not believe it. I think it was Brandon I looked at. I know John was very shocked, but Brandon and me were like looking at each other like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't do much, but I could do more. You know that loopy-loo thing I was trying to do? I could, if I just worked it a couple times, I could get it down again. That's just ring rust. That's all that is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you this much though: if I do come out there to do a match, I would try to get with the Indie Fed here and do some training.
Do you know one?
Yeah, they do it in Salt Lake City.
Perfect.
So there'd be, as long as they'd let me do it with them for a couple months, and I think they would. They'd probably want the money. So
yeah,
that's what I would do.
Crusher starting up a GoFundMe to get back in the ring.
Well, I'm not gonna. You're not gonna. If I'm gonna go in the ring, if I'm gonna do. And John was in my ear the whole time. God, Crusher, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. But if I did, I would prepare for it. Like, not just losing weight. I would get in better shape for it. So I don't want to, because I don't. You know me, Ricky. I'm not gonna half-ass anything.
No.
So yeah. But I don't know if I can do everything I used to do. I was just even, when I was in there, I was talking about this. I was talking to John about the swan dive. I said, God, John, you should bring that back. And I showed him the clip, that old clip I had that I did it, that I put up on YouTube. It's just a simple move. You just you kind of springboard your way over the top rope and do a body splash on the guy, right? It's not hard. And John says, well, he's never done it. And he goes, I guess add it to your arsenal. I don't see anybody doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, maybe I will. He goes, but it won't look as good as yours, Crusher.
Kiss ass.
Yeah, what are you talking about? This would look better. Jesus, I can't believe he says that. He's just trying to make me feel good. Yeah, he's just trying to make me feel good. And it was funny too, guys, because when I got to town, after Darren, carted me around and we went to different places, and I finally got a chance to get back to my hotel because I had to get checked in. And John was like, are you at the hotel? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I'm close. Do you want to get together? I said, yeah, come on over. So he walked over. 15 minutes or so. I don't know where he's at, the gym or something. And he walked over and I met up with John. And when he was in the hotel, I said, John, put the belt on your shoulder. I'll do a selfie. I'll send it to Ricky. And then Ricky's like, is John at the hotel already?
You know what? John can have his little selfie. I have the real thing. I have it.
Yep, on his bed. You're probably sleeping with that thing lately.
I do. Yep. I sleep. I shower with it. I go to training with it. I go to any sort of public event. I wear the title. Yep.
So Ricky, what was it like though? Like for you, like that? I know you've had a lot of good matches. How does this match rank with all your matches you've had to date?
Number one.
You think it's number one for you?
Yeah, it's especially again because we're out of character. Who gives a shit about kayfabe at this point?
Yeah.
Honestly, the whole match was it was the most confident I felt in the match. You know, it was real. I felt like a moment where everything clicked, and I realized, you know, if I just take the lead of a match, and that's not me saying that I was in complete control, because as you saw yourselves, Ben was doing unreal. But you know, even
Yeah.
Crusher said it. You heard it a lot. I was just pretty much talking the entire time to Ben in the ring.
Yeah. Ricky, you guys couldn't see it even on the video. I didn't notice it, but as a referee, I noticed it big time. That is one thing I will point out that was quite evident to me. Like back in the day, that would be a huge no-no to be talking like that. Like all your communication has to be disguised because of the whole kayfabe era.
Yeah.
But-
You could there's two times I like to think you can notice, and you'll see it in the match, but one of the moments that you notice it is during Ben's actual entrance, because everyone, I think, on the entire show, apart from a handful of people, were working the main crowd side, but because of the way we had the setup, the main crowd side wasn't the hard cam side, it was two separate sides. So Ben does do his little pose to the main crowd, and you literally see me go hard cam, hard cam, hard cam, hard cam, and then he turns and does like a little thing. He didn't do it as well, the hard cam, which was like, nah, but I had this just to make sure he knew hard cam, look at the hard cam.
There was another point too where Ricky told me to tell Ben ropes, and so you see me go over to Ben like this, and I was just telling him.
It's so funny though. I noticed there was not once in that match where I said, "Dude, that was 3" or anything." But if you listen to the commentary, every time I went over to you heard someone go, "Oh, he's Canary Kid saying that should have been 3." And I was like, "No, I was asking, was it 2?" Because I think that's something that people don't do enough. If you watch any other sport, if there's any sort of foul that happens, the players go over and ask like the referee, like, what is it, like what happened, or is that like in football, for soccer, football, whatever, like player will go over and like be like, you know, I don't think that's a card, and then if they get a card, they'll be like, what, like, you know, it's not valid, and then they'll be like, right, okay, you know, they don't sit there for ages going like. So that's what I was doing with Crush. If you noticed, even when I hit a boot at the start of the match, I show, you know, that was the bottom of the boot.
Yeah, he did that a couple times.
And then I go over to him after almost every pen. I would just give him a look sometimes. I'm like, And then other times I was like, was that 2? 2? Okay.
Yeah,
and I feel like people need to do that more.
But I meant by the communication, like, so he was like literally directing Ben, like Ricky was. He was just like just outright talking in the match, and which I noticed. And my old school reaction is like, what the hell are you doing? Why people are going to see this? And I'm thinking, but then when I watch it and I ask Pete and everything, nobody's seen it, nobody heard it. So it's interesting.
In the match, that's something that I've slowly started to realize. You're not as loud as you think you are in the match, unless the crowd is dead silent, and then you're talking at like a normal volume, which then still might be hard to pick up.
Yeah,
like no one's hearing you.
Right,
they'll see your mouth move sometimes, but you could always hate that as trash talk.
Like I said, we really don't even see it on the video. And then
no,
the only thing that John and I were talking, and I agree with John on this, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I think the handshake should have been different when we started that match. It should have been a hot take. Should have been a hot handshake. Like with the tension that we had at the podcast, with the way that went, and everything that went down, that should have been more of a tension moment. If you even shake hands at all.
Here's my thing. The way the title worked. So the night before, we'd done the podcast, we'd done the face-to-face, we'd done the handshake, which went to hell, right? The handshake from hell. We did that whole thing. So the fans knew already in their heads, they're like, these guys can't even shake hands. It's going to be chaos. Like, this match is going to be insane. But I like to think my job as a wrestler is to surprise people. And you notice that Ben was the first person to offer the handshake in the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then he held on to it. So that's why in the moment you see me, I'm actually the first person to offer the handshake to Ben. And my logic was, I want the crowd to be like, Canary's offering the handshake. And then Ben to be like, shake the hand. And then, you know, me to say something. You watch me, I say something to him, that's me talking, and we just let go and walk away. Because I feel like that would be like, oh, what are we expecting here? These two aren't going to war. Because even MMA fighters, although sometimes in MMA they won't touch gloves at the start, sometimes in the most heated fights in the build-up, they'll touch their gloves and then go back to the corner. So the handshake, if I don't handshake someone, that needs to be much bigger. Like, I want that to be a big deal. But if we did in the first title match,
I'm not saying don't. Like, I think what I would have done is I would have been like, when I asked you to shake hands, I would have been like you. I would have been having like a grit in my teeth at Ben and just like shaking my head and not like almost shaking, and then looking over at me, and then like getting second thoughts, and then offering the handshake.
Now here's the reason why. In the moment, I would have loved to do that, but me and Ben never once spoke about the handshake, and in my head, I knew that if I didn't offer the handshake first, Ben was going to, and I wanted to be the one to offer it because I wanted to switch the roles. So I was planning on doing like the whole, like, you know, should I do it? Should I do it? And then being like, you know what, put it there. I'll be the one to offer it. Like, I wanted that. And then as soon as we were in the ring, I was like, oh, we're doing a handshake. I never actually told Ben my idea, and I was like, I just have to offer it first then.
Yeah.
Or else Ben will do it on me.
See, we could have we just could have planned that a little better as well. And I think there should have been more moments too of you fighting. I think that you had an idea at one point that you were going to try to kick his knee and then look at me and then have second thoughts. But you should have showed more of those moments.
The thing was,
the closed fist was definitely one of them.
The closed fist was one. I feel like, if you watch me in the court, my idea, and I've said this to you for a while, is I don't need to cheat. I don't need to. That was my whole thing in the build-up. I'm not a cheater. I'm not going to cheat in my matches. And if I went into that match and showed conflict in cheating when I've never cheated before.
Yeah, but kicking his knee isn't cheating. It's just showing you fighting the urge to play dirty even.
Yeah, but also we found out later, though, after the crutch shot, that Ben's knee is actually not that bad. Because he was holding a crutch and then he was able to find and walk. So Ben actually wasn't injured. Ben faked an injury to get the best of me, to trick me. So his knee's fine. Yeah. So, again, going for the knee in return on someone whose knee is perfectly fine wouldn't have had logic.
Yeah, that's true. I got some comments here I want to bring in, I guess. Let's get some of these comments in. Okay, first of all, Darren. We know Darren. Congratulations, Canary. This is Keaton's dad, everybody. What a top show you guys put on. NWF Championship is now flying at a higher level than ever before. You got that right.
Of course it is. It's on the best set of wings in pro wrestling.
Yeah, it is. It's in good hands right now. And we'll talk about this more as we go with the match and everything. And then Mark Hugel says, Rocket Red Countdown Liftoff. Not sure what that means. Do you? I mean, this is your generation, probably.
Hey, no, don't compare. Well, we love the creativity. Maybe that's Morse code. Maybe he's in trouble or something. Just let us know.
Yeah, who knows? And then Gizmo, one of our regulars. So, Ricky, you are the one who bruised up Crusher in the match. Did you see his bruises? They're talking about my Abdullah the Butcher marks.
I did not touch Crusher's head in the match or his arm in the match. Chest was what got touched. If Crusher's trying to claim,
no, guys, let's
rephrase. I bruised him.
That clothesline hit me in the face. Is where it hit me. Luckily, it was a little higher. Would have had a bloody nose.
Crusher pre-bumped the clothesline. So
pre-bumped. No. I had multiple people. Even John looked at it and said, "That's not a pre-bump."
John's just catching us to get a match. We want to work that out.
But I didn't care. I'd take it. I'd take that shot in the face again. That didn't. I just like to give him shit about it. Is all.
Pre-bump.
But yeah, so and I guess the arm. I mean, I don't know where that probably came from training. Honestly, I don't know what I did, but I did something there. Let's see. I don't think it was. I was looking at the arm. I think Gizmo or somebody said that was when I was holding Ben's arms that caused that. Because I was holding with my forearms, not my bicep. So I don't think that would have been enough to. Just holding his arms ain't gonna bruise him. That had to come from training.
Yeah.
Who knows what I did? All right, and then this is Sky Sports Video News. Ricky, that was the best drop kick I have ever seen at any level. When you hit Ben off the second rope, it topped any drop kick I have seen from Crusher. The pupil passed the master. And I said as much on Rewind. Not that I'm going to say this.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I can do it, but I will tell you this. And Ricky knows this, but I practiced the drop kick back in the day. Now, today, forget it. But back when I was 19, 20, when I do my drop kick, I'd have Troy or whoever hold the punching bag in the gym, and I would mark my spots. And I was definitely kicking up here. Like I was above my head by a foot easily. So I probably could pull it off, but I just never thought of having somebody come off the second rope and doing that. You know what I call it? I call that a reverse missile drop kick. Because that's really what it is.
I just call it a drop kick.
You're just doing it reverse of a missile drop kick. Missile drop kick would be going the other way. So, a missile drop kick is where you come off the second rope or third rope.
Yeah.
Do the missile. Yeah. So you're just doing it reverse. Yeah. So, but I think I could hit it, but I can't say I can because I have to go back in time to do it. So, but you're right. The pupil's the master, and you know why? Because I got it in his head when he met me about my drop kick, and I got it in his head, and he started working on the damn thing, and now look what we have. So, it is a nice drop kick. I think you probably got the best drop kick in the entire dojo.
Yeah, I like to think so. That was an argument we had last Saturday on the build up to Charity Slam. It was me, Dylan, and John all having a debate on who has the best drop kick.
I haven't seen Dylan's, to be honest.
Well, that's what Dylan kept saying. Anytime we try and say no, Mike's is better than Dylan, Dylan would say, "Well, I don't drop kick enough for you to know that." And I'm like, "Shut up." And then John would be like, "I can backflip out of my drop kick." I'm like, "Yeah, but mine looks better." Point.
And what makes a good drop kick too is precision and always hitting the right spot.
Yeah.
And I say that after hitting Kelsey in the face, but
yes, and breaking his jaw.
But I mean that makes a difference too. And if you look at this one that Ricky does now, we're gonna see, guys, you're gonna see this footage now, and this is the pro edited shot. This isn't gonna be the same thing you've seen earlier.
Oh yeah.
So this match we're gonna watch is gonna be the nice one. Now it's nice. Not that Keaton's wasn't nice, but I'm just saying it's gonna be better quality and everything. Better quality,
yeah.
And you'll see a whole different angle of that drop kick, and I think it's a great angle, don't you?
Oh yeah, amazing.
It really caught it good, and I was very proud to see that. I didn't register with me in the match because everything's going by so fast. Like I didn't
ladies and
realize.
Gentlemen, Crusher actually after the match didn't actually know that I did a drop kick.
I mean, yeah, because
it just passed his mind that I did a drop kick.
Zillion things going through your head when you're reffing because like I'm making sure I want to catch this fist that he's going to do because he's going to do this closed fist, and I got to catch it with all the elbows and things that could miss it easily.
Yeah,
so I'm watching for that, and I'm making sure I'm trying to make sure I know where the ref's
Crusher got nervous.
It's coming. Yeah, so I just had a lot of things in my mind, but when I watched it in replay here on the video on Keaton's initially, I thought, God, because Nathan said, Crusher, you got to see that. That's probably better than any of yours. Nathan's seen most of mine. So, yeah.
It was honestly, right, the thing is, I don't know how good it looked the first time I ever did the drop kick, because the first time I did that exact drop kick was on the fly in a training drill. So we were doing a training drill. Nathan couldn't make it up one day, like other commitments, with family and stuff. And it was one of the rare occasions where someone else had to take it. And, DD Crooks took this training session, and we were doing like a heat drill, which is basically like you'd have one person in just beating someone up, and then one person's a babyface and just kind of, gets a wee bit in, then keeps getting, knocked off. And I was being the heel with Stevie Fee, and we did that exact spot, that I eat an elbow, I eat a boot, and Stevie went up to the middle, and as I'm selling, DD Crooks calls, drop kick him off the drop kick him when he jumps, and I was like, right, and I did it, and they went, oh, that was sick. I don't know if it looked, I'm assuming
you did it before you did it in the match.
I'd done it once before, and that would make me go, yeah, I can do that, because that wasn't hard to do.
Well, it is hard. It is hard to do though, because people
for me.
I'm just saying, but people don't understand is that anytime you get above your head, you have to go at an angle. You have to go at an angle up, and it's not easy to do that, and not everybody could do that. So
for my drop kick, I think that's the thing. I put most of my drop kick now. That was one of the issues I had. I used to like kind of rely on the turn of the drop kick more, but now I rely more on the vertical leap side of the drop kick. So I knew I can get height.
And just FYI, guys, when you see me doing the drop kick later, just know I wasn't going all out. I mean, I could, I could jump higher. I just don't. I just don't want to.
Yeah.
Here's the. Seriously, in all seriousness, I knew that I could pay the price if I did that, and I don't know how my body's going to react to that. So I just wanted to do it enough to get it off. But I know I could get a higher.
That's what he says.
I could. Trust me. You'll see if I come back there again. In fact, what I want to do is I want to do my running drop kicks. So I want to do it the way I used to, right? Hit the ropes and they're running back, and I want to do that one. I know I could do that one still.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyways, but yeah, I thought it was a great drop kick, and I think I even put an Instagram post out there saying that you've exceeded me on the drop kick now. Finally, took a while, but you finally did it.
I'd known I've had it exceeded for a while. You just only noticed now.
But yeah, like I've said, I don't take credit for training them on it. I just take credit for him perfecting it.
Yeah, I give myself the credit for the dropkick. To be completely honest, I give Nathan a lot of credit on a lot of the stuff I can do. The dropkick, I take complete
so Nathan
credit.
didn't train you on
He
it?
taught me my first, rendition of the dropkick, which was the one you
Right.
said wasn't as good as a dropkick could be, and it could be better.
I know for a fact what I got you good thinking about was keeping your feet clasped together, because I was watching your drop kicks before and you weren't doing that. When I mentioned it on that podcast, all of a sudden your feet are staying together.
Well, the thing was that's everything coming full circle. What you just said. So Nathan teaches people when they're first doing the dropkick to help them kind of get used to it, like putting stabilizers on a bike. He says like throw up a big boot and you just have the other leg follow.
Yeah, like
So
a
you
step,
get
like that
used to-
step in drop kick I was showing.
Yeah, so that's what we're
Yeah.
kind of getting used to doing. And
That's a good way to start.
unless you kind of step away from that, you're gonna, and it's not a bad looking drop kick. It's just it could be better. It could look amazing if you really put your mind to it. And I never believed I had much of a vertical leap on me until one day in training. I was like, I want to practice some drop kicks, and I was just putting them out. If Nathan would say like, "Oh, do this spot and then end it with whatever move you want," I want to do a drop kick on every move, and it was like I'll just jump with both feet together the whole time and see what my vertical leap is like. Because there's two things can happen. It looks great or it looks bad, and then I won't do it. It's in training.
Well, that's fine in a standing drop kick, but when you're doing running, there's no way to keep your feet together at the start. That's why you got to, when you're running with it, you're not gonna, there's no way to have your feet together because you're running. So
yeah.
That's why I'm used to not doing that at a standing, because I think I did the running first. But anyway, so I was just used to putting my feet together as soon as I jumped up. But the other one, though, like we're talking about, is for people to get started, is just lift your one leg up and then bring the other one up to it and kick. And then it's just a good way to get into it, because like I said on Rewind, people are afraid. The drop kick's a problem for people because they're afraid of landing. And so that's all in the back of their head. And so that's what's preventing them from getting their kick up, because they're afraid of how they're going to land. So you just got to get comfortable landing. And once you get comfortable with that, then you can start working on jumping and getting height and all that stuff.
Yep.
But it's nothing you're going to learn in one day. That's what I was, trying to tell the kids, in the kids training class. But anyways, let me get this other comment in, and then we'll get started with the watch along of the match. At least we'll start with that. This one is from Sports Tech Ricky. I like the fact you offered the handshake first. It shows that you are mature enough to start the match off right. I give you lots of credit for that.
Well, thank you very much. See, it's good to see someone else is on my wavelength with what I was going for.
I almost thought there was going to be a moment where you're going to try to shove me. I kept warning you, if you shove me, I'm going to shove you back, but never shoved me.
No, I don't lay my hands on an official on purpose. Anyway,
except when it comes to clotheslining them, I guess. But
but I barely touched you with that. It was a pre-bump, Could have been a lot worse.
My
Crusher.
My fat lip that day told me something different. All right. And then this is somebody I've never seen, but I'm going to say hello back. Edwin, 1975. Hi. Hello, Edwin. Thanks for joining us. And now we are going to get started with this watch along. So let's just get the match going, and then we'll keep talking. I'll bring it in. Hopefully this works. This is the first time we're trying this, so on our new platform. There we go. All right, I got the volume on about as low as I can. Is it too loud?
It's still pretty loud. But that's Johnny. The rest
60-minute. What's that?
I said that's better.
How's that? Better?
It's much better.
All right.
If you guys want it louder or quieter,
yeah, just tell us in the comments. But
you're the guys watching,
I just turned it down lower so you can hear us.
But that's also Johnny. That's going to be the loudest part of the match.
Yeah.
Johnny shouts down that mic.
I was really wondering how I was going to be received. I didn't know what they were going to think of me. They don't even know me, really. But this is where, like, I put the commentating back in now. You never heard this on the one they did earlier today. So there's announcers right now. See, and the reason is because the music drowned them out, so I had to fix this to bring their commentating back out again.
Yeah.
I couldn't fix it on your entrance music or Ben's entrance music though because of so much bass in the song. There's just no way I could get enough of it.
Yeah.
Is that your brother or nephew there?
Blonde one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Next to your mom.
brother.
Your brother. Okay. I knew it was one of the two.
Yeah.
He shook my hand.
Yep. See, he's just like his big brother.
Yeah.
Knows the handshake.
That was Ricky's mom, by the way, everybody.
Thank God COVID's not a thing anymore, because Crusher just shook every hand in the building in that entrance.
I tried to. Yeah, they play an Eye of the Tiger.
Mm.
That was my original ring music.
Crusher Balboa. And after the match, he had a lip like Sylvester Stallone, so kind of fit, didn't it?
Yep. Canary Kid beat me up. See, you don't want to beat me up, but you don't have a problem beating me up with the clothesline.
That was an accident. And here, you did a good job avoiding it.
Well, I tried to get Ben out of the way, because if I was distracting Ben, and if I didn't get him out of the way, I was at fault now. I would have caused Ben to get clotheslined by you. So you like this ring jacket?
Yeah, I think it's a better ring jacket than the other ones I've had. I find it I think that's the most heel thing I've ever done, is put that bird cry in my entrance music.
I like it.
Oh, so do I. But see, with fans who have sensitive ears, it's the most heel thing on the world, because it's so deafening. Like, people backstage at the Charity Slam show, when that played, were just looking at me like, oh, it's so loud. And I was like, I'm obnoxious, it works.
You know, I watched the 8-man tag at the Charity Slam, and all I seen was you in there, pretty much. Did the other guys even get in? Like Ben?
It was just the way they got the yeah, Ben and Nando were in at the start, and then Big Samson was in for the hot tag, and I was taking heat.
Okay, so you got some comments. Wrestling Revolution Keaton says, Crusher got a great reception too. And then he also says about the ring jacket, we hate it. That's your number one fan talking.
That's the number one hater now from the looks of it. Is he trying to come for my title? Is that what's happening here?
Yeah, who'd you flip off there?
That was Ben's girlfriend's. This is a long list, right? I swear to God, this is going to sound like I'm lying. This is a long list of how I got to get this. Ben's girlfriend's sister's boyfriend. Olaf, I think his name is. He's the blonde guy who has an extreme resemblance to Cody Rhodes, and he was giving me a lot of hate when I was, on the top there, so I had to do a very family-friendly gesture to get him
guys,
stopped.
I gotta interrupt you. I gotta bring this comment in. This is very generous. This is a super chat, $10 super chat. Mickey the Time Lord. Hi, Crusher and Canary. I wanted to say this was an amazing match and loved the belt. And wanted to say congratulations to Canary on winning the title, and thank you, Crusher, for doing all of this. Well, thank you for the $10 super chat.
Thank you very much, Mickey. That's awesome.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, well, I never ask for super chats, but I do appreciate them, and I do share my revenue with Ricky and Dave. So, we appreciate it. So
that's much appreciated.
Yeah.
And yeah, again, it was a great match, Mickey. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'm glad other people enjoyed it as much as I did. So,
this was great for me to get back in the ring again after all this time.
Yeah.
I mean, just even as a referee.
And you know what? Although you pre-bumped, you took the bump, decently well.
Don't listen to him, guys. I went to a number of people, and all of them said the same thing. There's no pre-bump there.
You know what they say about true friends? Say it how it is.
See, it's just Ricky not wanting to admit he screwed up.
But I
don't blame you. I don't blame you. Actually, I am going to blame me, because what I did, I pushed Ben out of the way kind of in your path.
Interfering in the match, my dad.
Well, if I didn't, then I'm distracted him, and I'm at fault now of him getting hit. So I had to get him out of the way.
Yeah.
And then you had to leap over Ben, and when you leaped over him, you got higher, and then instead of my chest, you're in my face.
Mm.
And I don't know.
The watched
butcher marks, though? These marks? Remember that forehead?
Yeah.
I think that came from Ben's ass hitting the back of my head when he landed on me. Remember when I was in the way?
Yep. And that's why.
I had my hand, because I had my hands on my forehead, and I think my fingernails did that when he landed on me.
Guys, that was the most number one frustrating part of the match, was trying to get Crusher to roll onto the apron.
He was in the way.
because he was selling, but he was making the most of his moment. You know, he'd finally taken a bump after all these years. And he was like, I want to
Well,
sell this, like, I want to sell this till the cows come home. And I'm like,
see,
are
and
you
I knew they were
okay,
going to do this stuff, but
bro?
I didn't know they were going to be in the corner that I was. I'm thinking, like, why are you in my corner? Do all this shit in the other corner. You
Well,
know?
way thing worked, we couldn't move, right? We thought it would all just happen in the same corner. We didn't expect there to be, you know, a 55-year-old man lying lifeless in the
But
corner with us.
the fact that Ben landed on my head like that, on the back of my head anyway, worked because I needed to get bumped again. I was getting up too quick,
Hmm.
for the to miss the pin. So, but yeah, thanks so much for that super chat, Mickey. Appreciate that. Crusher, you look pretty small next to those big fit wrestlers in the ring with you. They're not that big. Canary's maybe 2 inches taller. Ben maybe an inch taller. I don't know. It's hard to say.
Crusher's about 5'5", really, in person.
Oh my gosh. Canary, Mickey again, $20 now.
Oh,
Well, just a bit more love for both of you and for Ben. This is in a warehouse. And Crusher, the reason I found your channel is because there is a YouTube video that was a documentary on the NWF I saw a few years back. Yeah, the NWF The Untold Story.
yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. And yes, this isn't a warehouse. We have a industrial, like, little industrial unit over in a area in Northern Ireland called Carryduff, and that's where we run our training as well.
Yeah,
And
but when he means by warehouse is like an industrial warehouse kind of building, and it is.
yeah.
But it works
And
out really well for this.
yes, it's great. And see, if you come here for a training session, you could not imagine that this is the same place that we run our shows, because it just looks so much more like, it looks so much more lively on a show night. It just has that different vibe to it. But yeah, we run our shows in this place almost guaranteed monthly. But on our training here 4 to 5 times a week. So
Yeah,
it's very efficient.
in the documentary, I'm glad you brought that up, Mickey, because I really, that was a big project for me. That's where I retold the story of the NWF. Up to that point, people forgot about the NWF.
Mm-hmm.
And so I kind of reinvented the story again, let them know what we did. And the documentary and book kind of focused more on our kids wrestling side, not so much my indie stuff I did.
Yeah.
Because it was a marketing thing, want to market to more kids and teenagers,
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of why that is. I mean, the indie stuff, so, transition to an indie fed and all that, it's a whole other story, really.
Exactly.
All right, so appreciate that, Mickey. Thanks
Thank
so
you
much.
again.
And then he has another question. He says, I noticed that the mic they are using seems muffled unless the sound is bouncing off the walls. Yeah, what happened here, Mickey, there were some technical problems. It normally isn't like this. And there were just some technical issues on the side that they've realized they had after we recorded everything. So it's normally not like this.
Yeah, usually as well with these, like, when we're doing the shows in the warehouse, for the sake of, like, efficiency, we like to do our commentary like post the show. But this was live commentary because we'd already scheduled with the event that was meant to be outside the place, so we just kind of doubled down on having live commentary, but from our industrial unit for the first time. And yeah, because of that, we weren't able to fix any flaws or anything in the audio.
Yeah. I will be uploading this match to our channel later today, and when I do, will have better audio than what you heard on the NIPW live stream today, the one they did earlier. So it will be fixed up a little bit better. Like I've increased and amplified all the commentary in the whole match, so it will be more prominent now. But I asked Mitch if you want me to do the whole show. He's like, nah, I'm done with it. We're moving on. He's had enough of the Wrestle Clash.
Yeah, Mitch works insanely hard.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is what they did in the beginning, you guys. That was British chain wrestling they were doing. Canary, I don't know if you want to explain it. It's just kind of like real wrestling as a work.
Yeah, the thing I like to call it is like catch as catch can wrestling.
Yeah.
And it's the more European style that many American wrestlers today do, especially. But even like the legends of wrestling from like the modern generation, like the Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan, like people like him, like were well known for being able to do. But yeah, this is what, like, I find it crazy that it's not as common for like people to understand as much as like European wrestlers do. Because obviously this is just the environment I was brought up in, like, but when I see people who can't chain as well, like, it's shocking, like, and it's not a bad thing. Like, chain's not everything wrestling, but it just surprises me because for ages I thought like, oh, everyone knows this stuff.
Well, what I do if I have a match like with whoever, I want to do where you do chain wrestling with me, and I'll reverse with American grappling. American grappling's a
Yeah.
little different, so it's like I'll just do amateur wrestling that I know. So I'll reverse that way and kind of counter that way with amateur. So it'd be like
Yeah.
British chain versus amateur. That'd be kind of cool.
And that's interesting,
Yeah.
It's so funny. See Ben's stuff here. Like, I'm trying to sell it and stuff, and he's like kicking me to hurry up and get up. I'm like, bro, just let me sell. I'll get up when you're there.
You know what I'm surprised? Well, you don't want to cheat, but Ben's got all that hair, man. You could pull his hair so easily.
It would be easy, but I ain't a cheater. But there was something I noticed he did a lot in the match, and for ages I was like, why does he do that? Like, it must be an old school thing.
What am I doing?
You would go 1, 2, and if it was 2, you would go. And I was like, why does he do that?
Or
And
I
then,
could go like this. I could do the peace sign, but I'm
that's
just
what I
saying a
was
2
thinking.
count. Yeah.
But see, when you're doing this, I always was wondering, like, what's the logic behind that? And then I realized that, like, it's easier to recognize that this means there's definitely 2 fingers up there. But if you do a quick, you don't know, was that 1, 2, 3? What, if you quickly, but if you see that, you see that big difference.
Yeah, I always picked up like with this because it like just like for that reason. Yeah. And another thing I did, I don't know if you guys, your refs do it, but I'm always asking you, hey, Canary, you had enough? Let me know right now. I'll ring the bell. He says no.
Yeah, you were doing that a lot.
That's how our refs always would ref. Like, they would always ask you. That's why when I was having you sell me that armbar, I was saying, no, ref, no, because that's just a natural reflex. The ref would be in my face asking me if I give in any kind of hold, you know? So.
Oh, here it is.
There's that drop kick. Look at that. And look at that angle there. Perfect. Absolutely beautiful. I love it.
I am so arrogant. I just realized what I did. As soon as I hit the drop kick, I don't even, like, deep down in my body, I'm going crazy, but I just pull up this face of like, yeah, what do you expect? Yeah. But in my head, I'm like, it was in midair. I realized that was going to be amazing. I was in midair and I was like, whoa, like, I'm up. Like, I'm hitting this guy.
That's what Ricky told me to tell him to get to the ropes. That's what I was doing there. I was checking on Ben, but I was really telling him to get to the ropes.
I like this close in. I feel like I let that in,
Yeah, it didn't hit him in the face.
Yeah, he didn't pre-bump, but that's good.
Was my count slow? I showed you the pace I was going to go on the back before we went out there.
Yeah, I don't really remember. Your counts were slower than a modern day ref, but it's the speed of what your refs would have been like. But that's why even there you see me, I don't argue with you. I go 2.
Right. Yeah, you never argued. Canary never argued with me at any point, except when I warned him about the closed fist. But
at this point, I laugh at him. Yeah, like, come on, ref, like, just pick it up.
I mean, championship matches back in the day would be a more slower count than usual anyway, just because it's more, you want to build the drama of it.
I like this move. It was quite innovative, and you were there.
You know what I would do there? I would do a backslide right there. I would hook you and backslide you when you're bent over like that.
Well, this one was a little bit different.
Oh, and you kicked him in the back of the head?
Yeah. And the thing is, so you and Nathan were sitting there as I was trying to think of what to do with Ben.
I know, we kept kind of saying, you're like, just shut up, don't. We'll figure it out.
I was losing it because I had someone in my mind, and I look back and I was like, oh, that's what I had planned. But I look at this and I'm like, this was cooler. But like, yeah, it was, guys, you don't understand. I was sitting there trying to think of what to do, and Nathan's like, oh, do this. Nathan's like, oh, do this. I'm like, no. I was like really trying to think of it, and Ben's just sitting there in that position, like, just waiting to see what's going to happen. There's the punch. I clocked Ben.
Yeah, he was feeling his jaw in the back. I remember it kept like going like this all the time.
He said his jaw was. I just clocked him.
So it looks like somebody else dislocated a jaw.
That's me apologizing here in the whip. You don't even see me talk, but I was apologizing.
See, guys, I influenced him so much, he's dislocating jaws now.
And there we go.
Your move.
I did better. That's not really the same move.
Now, this move that Canary's going to do here, he has been, before the match, he was practicing, trying to get the courage to do this, and Nathan's like, just forget it. But he finally got it down and did it, and he did it here where he springboards.
This here
in.
jump, I was so scared to do because I'd been away from training for a while and I hadn't tried it since, and I got it and I was like, oh, thank God. That hurt so much though. The kick.
Did he hit you?
He caught me here in the
Oh,
chest, and I
okay.
was tired and fatigued, heavy breathing, and then just getting a boot to the chest because
Yeah.
Nathan was in his ear before the show when we kept doing that spot. Nathan was like, Ben, you're barely even touching him. So I think Ben had that in his head and decided, let me lay this in. You know what, Crusher? Your counts weren't slow, but the 10 counts when we were down were fast.
You
They
mean
were fast.
You mean the
they
one?
were some fast counting.
You mean the double count?
2, 3. I was like,
that was a bit
fast.
faster.
We wanted to lie there for a bit. Like that was our time to breathe and let it slow
Catch your
down.
breath.
And you're going 1, 2, 3, and then we had to rush up to our feet.
Yeah, I suppose I should have slowed that down.
I actually struggled to lift Ben there. I didn't expect it, but that was my fatigue starting to show. This was cool as well. So Ben,
that was cool. Yeah, double crossbody.
We wanted to just do the simple, double clothesline each other. But the very first match on the show did the double clothesline spot, and Ben turned. I was like, "Oh, what do we do now?" Ben and Ben's like, "We'll just double crossbody each other, both go left and see what." I was like, I don't know, and he's like, "Just do it." And I was like, "All right," and it worked. I didn't know he was going to start.
I'm gonna get to your comments, guys. By the way, we'll wait for the match to end, and then we'll bring these comments in. So just hang tight on the comments, everybody.
Didn't know Ben was going to start chopping me.
Yeah, you said you don't do chops. He's chopping you.
Oh, I don't. Because one of our coaches, Damien Corvin, he always tells us, he made a very fair point that when you do a chop, people are going to think of Ric Flair, and you don't want them to think of Ric Flair, you want them to think of you, so do something that will make people think of someone else.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, and Ben made a joke to Ben saying, "Yeah, get in the corner and I'll chop you," and he was laughing, and then it didn't do any chops, and he must have been like ready for chops. So for some reason...
I forgot, Ricky. Did you point out when we started that we're on all 3 channels? I don't know if you mentioned that.
I didn't, and that was one thing I realized in my intro, but I was too late.
So we are now live streaming on NWF, Wrestling Revolution Keaton, and NIPW official YouTube channel. All 3 channels now you can see us live on Forward. So that's kind of exciting. Now he called it a brain buster, but I know the brain buster. That's not quite the brain buster, what he did there.
That's the brain buster in modern wrestling.
Okay, because then like the way they used to do it, you come like a pile driver almost.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the modern wrestling brain buster, but we just kept telling you vertical.
Do they do that for safety reasons?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I figure. Okay, makes sense.
See, I do throw you in the bin. You
Yeah,
were worried in case it didn't look like you got thrown in the bin.
I said, Ben, get out of the way, because like I'm distracted him, so I had to get him out of the way, or else I'm at fault.
By the way, guys, here's Crusher getting nice and comfortable in the
And
middle
look at Canary, all the concern for Crusher. See,
I
told you he cares about me.
And at the same time, tell him to get out of the ring because we need to run something here.
Not quite yet. You didn't tell me. I'll tell you. I know where you told me. It wasn't.
Oh no, I'd already told you. I was telling you there. You just weren't listening.
You tell me after.
I do tell you again. Yeah. It's while I'm selling in the corner. It's when I'm selling after he power bombs me.
Yeah, after he power bombs you, that's when you tell me roll.
Because you rolled back out.
I
didn't realize that you rolled back out, and here's me going, Crusher,
roll over,
out of the way, and then you didn't even get fully out of the way, so Ben just fires himself.
Yeah, and he landed on my head, and my hand was there with my fingernails. I think that's how I got my Abdullah the Butcher marks.
This was scary. This was intuition from me, because
you couldn't hear it.
I didn't know what the count was. I couldn't hear it. So I was sitting there. I almost didn't kick out, but I was like, I'd rather kick out at 1 than don't kick out at all, and then the finish is ruined. But
it worked out
because I was sitting there, and then but usually for us, Nathan has the rule: referees always count at the person's shoulders, so they can look and see the count and work out when the best time to kick out is. Crusher was on the other side because he was just selling, so I couldn't see him, and the crowd weren't counting with him because they were making a joke of going, it's been like 10 and continuing on the count past 10.
Yeah, they kept counting like 7, 8, or whatever.
And I can't see Crusher. I was like, I just have to kick out, and it ended up being perfect timing that I did.
I should have had you do the meteor to me too.
Yeah, here's the meteor.
And there it is. Your brother jumping up and down.
The thing is, right? See when I was hugging Ben like that?
Yeah. Nathan
I
Hoy
didn't-
hug.
I didn't. Yeah, the Nathan Hoy hug. Only I didn't armpit him in the face. But I'm hugging Ben, and I only realized after obviously like watching the professional footage, Ben starts going, "Yeah, bro, don't worry about it." I'm like, Ben, keep selling. You're meant to be out right now. I'm hugging a lifeless Ben. That's what it's meant to be. I didn't realize he was going.
See,
"Yeah,
look
don't
at
worry
how
about it, bro."
emotional Ben is right now, even. Like, and especially, you didn't see him in the back when he first came back there because you were still out there.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was really.
he loved that match. Yeah, he enjoyed that so much.
Coming 5,000 miles for this. But you know what?
I should have raised your hand. I forgot to do that.
You did forget to do that. I thought you were going to do it as well.
Well, what I should have did was brought Ben over and had you over and then raised yours. That's how it would be traditionally.
I liked the way we did it though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change most of this match.
So now another. This one's yours, buddy.
I didn't want to put too much of an embrace on us. You know, like I didn't want to outright. I didn't want to look like there was favoritism. You know,
Yeah.
I wanted to be more professional with it. Right?
For me in this moment though, I'm happy you didn't because I was just waiting to be able to get my hands on Ben.
Yeah.
I just wanted to get over the Ben. I was like, wow. He's just crying in my ear right now. I remember, and by the way, I know this was a question because I watched a lot of Rewind. I actually think it's the first time I watched a full episode of Rewind because usually it's so late at night and I don't watch it, but I watched it post.
Mm-hmm.
And because I knew it would be talking about the match, and I was like, I want to hear what people are saying. And I know that you and Dave were saying that you wanted to know what I said to Ben in that moment.
People always want to know.
Yeah. So to pull up the curtain a bit, when I walked over to Ben there and I started hugging him, the first thing I said to him was, "I'm sorry I couldn't be you."
Oh, is that what you
literally
said?
Yep. I said, "I'm sorry I couldn't be you tonight," and he said, "Don't apologize. I'm so happy right now. Probably a little less PG, but I'm so happy right now. I love you. I love you." Like it was a very like emotional thing, but yeah, what I said was, "Ben, I'm sorry I couldn't be you."
And who's this person that didn't want to touch you?
His whole family.
Oh, that lady there that said no.
That
go
lady
away.
is his aunt, and
that's the
the girl
aunt that's
flipping me off
really-
is his sister. Yep.
That's the ones that are really gung ho Ben Nelson fans.
And I walked over and I was like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And they were not having me.
It's so cool to see that belt on somebody's shoulder again.
It's so cool to see it on my shoulder, in my opinion. And here's me apologizing to more of his family.
Yeah. That's where I got that picture I gave you.
Yeah.
Of course,
There we go.
I fixed it up and stuff, but I mean, I'm going to bring this out.
And there we
No.
go, ladies and gentlemen. There is one of the best NIPW matches of all time. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm going to say it like that. It was great, like unbelievable match. I thought.
Ricky told me privately that it's ironic that he hit the best dropkick of his life with me reffing. Isn't that something?
Yeah. It's funny how things turn out. It's almost like I had something to prove there. Just let him know I'm better.
Even the commentator said, "You might be being a bit disrespectful because Crusher's dropkick was a thing of beauty back." Did you hear that? And there's
Yep.
I don't know.
No,
I don't
it's-
remember telling them about that, so I don't know where they picked up on that.
They watched the podcast, I'm assuming.
Yeah, maybe because Mitch did get him onto the podcast a while ago. So
Yeah,
um,
I knew they were they're also like they were talking to us a lot about the podcast and their interest in it, and so I
Oh.
assume they must watch it.
so we still got more stuff to watch. It's not going to be quite as lengthy now, but we got training footage to watch and stuff. But first,
here we
I just
go.
want to get caught up on some of the comments quick.
Yeah, we've been neglecting the people.
So Mickey said, "I noticed." Wait,
That's already it.
it.
Yeah, there's Crusher at his age.
Mickey the Time Lord. That's because I got clothesline in the face. I can't think straight anymore now. Well, like I said, you all did a great job. I wasn't alive when NWF was around, but I enjoyed each moment. And Crusher is the belts in the background on the wall, NWF belts. Yes, they are actually. Those are all, every one of those are NWF/TWA belts. TWA was before NWF. It was the Twin Cities. Those two on the bottom. But yeah, those are all NWF belts. And most of them designed by Steve Engstrom. He was a hell of a good belt designer back then for us. He was good for that. Let's see. And then Mickey says, "Sorry if I'm asking too many questions." Nah.
No, we
know
actually
them all.
want as much involvement as possible, so we actually appreciate that, Mickey. If you have 600 more, that'd be great.
Exactly. And Mass Movies, are there any upcoming guests from Full Tilt Wrestling anytime soon? As a matter of fact, I just talked to Mitch, and he has the link, and I said, Mitch, you probably might want to come in and challenge Canary Kid. Now he's got this NWF belt. And he liked the idea of that. So you might see Mitch come in and do a little instigating one of these shows.
Oh,
We'll
not
have to
Mitch.
see.
Oh God.
So yeah. So
He actually just recently lost the title, so I know
and you know
it's gonna
something, I want to get more of their guys on. Like there's a few of them that are on my Instagram that are following me, and I'm gonna reach out to them and see if we can get some of them other guys too.
Yeah, they're great. Foothill's a great place.
Yeah, I want to get more of them on. So
Mhm.
I think that would be great.
For sure.
So yeah, those are the comments. So yeah, let's get to some of the training footage. I'm gonna start with the kids training. I think this might have music to it or whatever. The rest of them won't have any music, but this is just
Keaton's
gonna,
footage.
oh wait, here's one more from Mickey. I'm gonna get that, and he gave us so many super chats he deserves.
Yeah.
Well, Canary, NIPW do live streams. Does NIPW do live streams? Because I am curious and I want to watch more matches.
Yes. So if you're interested in doing more matches, I'm watching more matches. We don't always live stream our matches, but almost every show that NIPW has done. No, let me correct that. Every show NIPW has done, every match is on YouTube. It's available on the YouTube channel that we're actually streaming from here right now. But if you just search up NIPW Wrestling, Private and Canary Kid there.
Search Northern Ireland Pro Wrestling. And
yes,
comes right
there
up.
You go. Northern Ireland Pro Wrestling on YouTube. You'll find,
because if you search Canary Kid, you're going to find other people's channels and stuff, and he doesn't always like seeing some of that stuff out there. So
no, I don't. No one really posts about me. It's just what people comment. I don't like.
Oh, yeah.
So some people watch wrestling for other reasons, folks.
Yeah, somebody was commenting on one of our shows like Canary's got to get regular wrestling tights. Well, what's wrong with what he's got? I don't understand the question.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm not showing enough skin for a certain demographic, I guess. But
yeah, I guess you get weirdos. So yeah, and then yeah, so let's get to this training footage. This is just going to be, this first one's with the kids, and I just tried to show you stuff that I was doing with the kids. And I showed you stills last week, everybody. This is going to be the actual video footage.
Here we go. We'll
just watch it. Here we go. That's me trying to do the loop-de-loop Ben. He couldn't get me over.
This is hilarious. And look at Ben. Nathan's telling Ben off. Ben's like, what do you want me to do?
And went into the backslide with him, trying to show how I do it. So now the kids are all going to do the same thing now, and we have to help some of them.
And look at Keaton go.
This is where they struggle. They're doing the backslide differently. They're not doing it fluid like I do, which I wish I would have been more. I wish I would have pointed that out better on how I did it.
Why? Well, I'm assuming, yeah, it's hard. It's actually going to be really hard for you to explain right now, but I was going to say, how do you do it? Oh, let's see this.
There's Canary's drop kick to Crusher. Front bump.
I could have got that better, to be honest.
Wasn't bad. There's a slow-mo of it. And then the Ric Flair front bump. I said I want to do a front bump because I did a back bump for Ben.
Yeah, he told us he was going to do a Ric Flair front bump as soon as I said about doing it. And there's his.
Here comes Crusher's drop kick. Not as nice, but...
That wasn't too bad, you know? You got it where you needed it to be.
I put these in slow-mo, though, because that way you can see him a little bit better.
I've never seen myself that close up taking like a corner. That's really funny. This is really cool seeing me this close up in slow motion wrestle. Like, I love that. That's really sick.
Well, the kids clapped, I guess, so it had to be somewhat good.
There's my face of surprise the Crusher got up that high.
That's when I did Ben. And then I had Ben drop kick me, and I did my back drop, but I didn't do it as nice as I could. Like, I used to get my legs way up there.
Did it hurt?
No, it didn't hurt.
All this again? No, I was wondering if did it hurt the next day?
No, the only thing that hurt was my ribs after 2 days, and that's how bruised ribs go. When you bruise your ribs, you don't feel it right away.
Yeah.
And
I feel like it might have been one of the drop kicks, so you might have not landed fully. You might have like
could have
a bit
been.
More. Yeah.
It might have been the drop kick too.
All right, Keaton, Jean-Claude Van Damme over there.
That was a good snapmare by Keaton right there.
Oh yeah, he's great at the chin and the.
And what I was trying to show Keaton here is like slap the wrist. Some of these guys were slapping your arms though and stuff. Like
oh yeah, was it John? I was screaming off for it.
Yeah.
I was in it and John was just slapping me. I'm like, John.
The idea is you slap your back of your hand. Yeah. This guy Eli's pretty good, I think. Like
Eli's great.
I told him keep your arm loose, and he had it nice and loose. See, I can move it fluid. That's what you want. You want to be able to move it.
Eli's great. Yeah.
Like Nathan says, you just react. You react. This is a rest hold. You shouldn't be working at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, I guess it's done.
And is that all the?
That's all
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have more from the adults or?
Yep, that was the kids. So now we'll go to the adults. Sure I'm on the right one. So this is just kind of showing, this is their pre-workout. A little bit of it anyway. And this went on for like 15, 20 minutes.
It's me making fun of Brandon squats.
That might be a little loud. I'm going to turn it down a bit.
I was just constantly making fun of Brandon for his squatting.
He's not squatting?
No, you can see him. He's bent down too much.
See, I could do the squatting. I could do that. I'll tell you what. We never did rolls back in the day, ever. So like this stuff, this would be hard for me. I could probably figure it out, but
first thing we do in a ring.
Yeah, we never did this.
It's crazy how smooth John is on that. Like that's insane looking at it.
I think I could figure it out if I practice this, but
they're really good to know because see if you're like for example, if you mess up something in a match, a roll's going to get you out of it a lot. Like if you're about to hurt yourself, if you know how to tuck and roll. This is the rugby player Ben I got put in with. I was not happy having to do that. But hopefully the shoot fights got recorded so you can see me and Ben.
I think I have it in there.
That makes me look less of an idiot.
Like
yeah, it is. There we go. Yeah. About to pin them to the ground.
Yeah. You'd never get me that quick though, Ricky. I know how to do. See, that's where I came on my side. See, that's for my side.
That's what done it.
I think that's what it was. That was the one, the tail end of my showing him the. I call it the 1, 2, 3. I don't know if this move even has a name, but you walk the turnbuckles basically. So you watch these. I'm going to show everybody doing it. So this is Stevie Fee.
That's me saying the Fee. I think I got you because he asked me if I have him.
Worked out. That was the good one. You know who did this really good? John did a good one. That was good. That was a good one.
Crux, you saying?
Crux did a really good one. I'll show you what I like.
This is Crux's kind of thing.
And there's Canary. So it was cool to be able to show you guys something. Like, see, I like how he pointed, and then when he does this, and he goes, puts his arms and legs out. See how he his arms and legs out?
That's
he put his arms and legs out.
That's
that was so good.
That's his thing. Jordan actually had a good one. That was sick.
Yeah. I'm still catching my breath.
Crusher working people.
I'm telling him keep his arm loose.
Crusher Miyagi. Yeah, Brandon ain't loose. Brandon's stiffer than a rusty door. Like.
This is a young kid starting out, huh?
Beers?
Yeah, the guy in pink. Yeah.
I
haven't seen him on any matches yet.
No, he's a manager.
He's a manager?
Yeah. He's a manager for Malice. The character that we have on our show.
Yeah.
Here, speaking of masked gimmicks, I saw you almost expose one of our masked wrestlers on
almost did, yeah.
Rewind. Oh my god.
I know.
That was so funny. I don't think he saw it, thankfully, because I feel like
I don't think I exactly said his name though either.
So. You would have caught on. I'm assuming fans probably caught on very easily if they knew who he was. If they know our roster, they know exactly who you're talking about.
And this is just a little bit of grappling I put in here that you guys are doing, that just little sequences and series you guys are doing now at this point.
Yeah, hopefully me and Jordan doesn't.
Looked like Ben caught him in the face. Looks like it's you and John. So John McCann and Ricky in there right now. Fireman's carry. And then there's one more thing to show, and this is quick. You already seen it, Ricky, but I don't think I've ever shown it to anybody else. So this is a training sequence with John and Ricky. You guys have done this a number of times, you can tell.
Oh yeah. That's just what we just know that. And then John really wanted to run it the other way. He really wanted to show his hip toss. That's why I cuts and then we'll go back again because John's like, yo, we did it the other way. John blows his people on this. But sometimes me and John's like understanding each other's body language doesn't always work out because, as you can see there, I'm used to John as soon as he hits that hip toss going straight down the cover, and he didn't think we are going to do a pin. So you see me going like, I'm ready, because we're just used to it at this point.
Well, it was really fun to be there and do that. And Nathan, what I like about Nathan is he wanted me to feel included. That's why he had me come up there with you guys so I could be part of it in some way, shape, or form. And I asked Nathan, I said, Nathan, what do you want me to show them? They know everything. He's like, just show them what you went over. Show them things you did. I said, well, then I thought of that 1, 2, 3. I said, well, there's one I think I could maybe they might not have done. So I wanted to try something that you hadn't seen, but that I could show you. But I just wished I would have had a time to practice it a bit before I showed you so I landed properly. But
instead of bruising your ribs.
Yeah, I mean, I just came down on my side. You can see how I came down like this, right? Instead of turning. But that is not a move I made up. That was Buck Zumhoff's move, and I stole it from him. And I thought it always looked cool. And I don't ever see it anymore, hardly. It's kind of a lucha libre thing, though. You're walking the turnbuckles, and yeah. So let's see some comments. Let's see. I want to get where we left off here. Okay, so Mickey says, "Oh, will other NWF belts be defended in the future, or just the world title?" No, I mean, I actually made the comment. I'm like, gosh, the NWF Lightweight Championship, that one there in the second from the bottom. Maybe I should bring that back for the kids. I'm like, nah, but we're going to turn it into NWF if I keep bringing all these belts back. So I think we'll just stick with the world title for right now. And then Mickey says, "Wow, the air on dropkick was awesome." Yeah.
Wait. Who's dropkick?
The air on dropkick?
The air on the dropkick is in like the air time you got. But who's dropkick?
It was probably yours. I think you got up higher than I did. So, yeah, he says Canary.
Yeah, there we go.
And just remember though, Mickey, I wasn't trying. I mean, if I gave it 100%, like I usually, if it's a match, trust me, you'll see me get a lot higher because it's just I can't do it any higher.
Of course.
The competitive nature in me. Mitch Baxter says, "How does the quality and content of NIPW training class compare to that training in your heyday, Crusher?" Well, Mitch, it was completely different because the way Eddie trained in old school was not the same as how you train it today, modern and for modern. There was no workouts and cardio thing. You didn't do any of that. You would and all you would do is you would just basically work a maneuver for the day. Like we'd be on wrestling mat pads, so we wouldn't be in a ring. Be in a gym with wrestling mat pads, and you would just do like a hip lock or a arm drag or whatever, elbow drop, and you do it over and over and over and over. It's all muscle memory. And then he would train us on all these sequences like that in the gym. And then the way he got trained in a match is then he would put you in a match with somebody who had more experience, who knew how to, like Ricky was leading that match we watched. He'd put you in somebody who knew how to lead a match. And that's how you would learn how to put it all together in an actual match in front of a crowd. It actually worked fine. You'd be surprised because when you do all the bumps, it actually comes pretty natural. It's just knowing when to, when they call for the moves, you know what to do. So it's not as hard as it sounds. But that was old school training. That's how it was. And it was also about, there wasn't as much in like proper, a little bit on stances, but not much. It was all about making it believable, making it real. Just make it look like you're getting, if you get clothesline, make it look like your head got taken off. It was always the mentality. So every time we'd always react. And another thing I noticed you guys don't do, if I'm kicking you, I almost have to stand up to do it. But I'm jumping with both feet and I'm stomping my one foot while I kick with the other. I'm making that noise on the mat. Where I notice you guys don't do that anymore.
Some people do.
I mean, they do when they hit sometimes, and we did that too. But like anytime you'd kick, you'd always kick with your other foot too to make the stomp noise, the mat noise, Not just kick without doing that. Like you'd kick with both feet. You know what I'm saying? Like one foot's kicking the mat and the other one's kicking the person. Yeah. Just little things like that. And the moves were basic. I mean, they're simpler, weren't as complicated like they are now. So there's a lot of differences. And they're better. They're just better because they got better training. So that's how it compares. I think. Mitch, you're kind of like a in between. Like you were trained in between all this. I don't know how your training was, Mitch.
You guys were training around the same time period, no?
I think Mitch was trained like he's younger than me.
Really?
Oh yeah. He's probably 20 years younger. He's like Nathan's age, I think.
I thought Mitch was edging in these, mid to late 50s, no?
I don't think so. No, I think Mitch was trained like later than I was. So maybe he had a different kind of training. I'm not sure. You have to tell us.
Mitch just getting old.
But no, like I just remember things like I'll never forget my flying head scissors. Like when I was doing it the way I did it, and Eddie's like, "No, what are you doing that for?" Like that. And he goes, "What you want to do is, and he showed me how to do it." But I thought I just used my drop kick leap to get the leap, and I would just do it my way, and it always worked. But now that Eddie showed me how the way to do it, then it made sense. But that was the thing with Eddie. There was a lot of correction. He had to correct us on a lot of things at first. Let's see. Let's see. Next comment. Mickey says, and also Canary, will you be defending the belt in the States as well as Canada and other countries?
Well, nothing's, for sure yet, but it's in my like plans with this championship to defend it as much place as possible.
You're bringing it to Canada.
I am bringing it to Canada, yep. Defend it is up for debate because, the way matches work out and talking to promoters need to see how things work out. But for the States, I really don't know. I'm pretty sure I need a visa and stuff like that, and that's a complicated thing to go around. So
you don't need a visa.
You need it. The United States are very strict about it.
Not when you visit.
When I visit, yeah, but if they catch me with wrestling gear in your back, you can get, sent back. It happened to a wrestler who I won't name. Yeah, it happened to a wrestler who I won't name from another promotion who's close enough with us. And they went to the States and got caught with the wrestling gear in their bag, and they were like, "What's that for?" And they tried to lie his way out of it, but they kind of caught him. They're like, "No, you're coming here to perform and make money, so that's visa."
What if you don't? Yeah, but what if you're not making any money? We're just coming for the experience.
That might be different.
I think that would be different.
Maybe.
So that's the way you can get away with it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going for training sessions and stuff. It's not like they're going to follow you around and see.
Well, if the way America is nowadays, you never know, Crush.
Yeah. That's what I'd say. Because if we ever get something worked out, your ass is getting over here. Visa or not. I was even looking, Ricky. I was thinking, God, he's going to be in Ottawa. What would the flights be to get him over to Michigan? Because I'm sure I could get Joe Bird to get you on a show. But the flights are horrendous. It's like it's almost as much to go from here to Ireland as it is to go from Michigan to Ottawa, and it's only an 8-hour drive.
Oh my!
I don't know why, but let's see. And then, yeah, so he's talking about Canary.
Yeah, the drop kick. Yeah.
We asked whose drop kick wasn't that great, and he said Canary's. Okay.
Oh no! That wasn't the question. Nah.
I like the way that sounded.
Crusher might have forgot the question.
And then Mitch says, mid to late 50s, you being joining the queue at the Dole office, Canary. I think he's in his 50s.
Yes, I forgot Mitch is actually my boss. So I need to watch. I forgot Mitch takes things very personally. We all saw what happened to Jolene. So.
And then this comment from Gadget Gizmo says, Crusher, thank you for not hurting Ricky during your time in Ireland. Ricky, thanks for taking care of the old man while he was out of his country. We are all living the match through the eyes of Crush.
I would love to talk more about that, but first, just want to say thank you for not hurting Ricky. Crusher couldn't hurt me if he tried, right? But the only thing that hurts Ricky right now is watching you start with a bracket, parentheses, or whatever you guys call it, and then not finishing the parentheses or bracket.
That's his OCD, everybody.
No, that's called basic grammar. Again.
Yeah, little
Gadget Gizmo.
Stuff like that sets him off.
Needs to go back to school, I think.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't going to hurt Ricky because, I can't do that. If he's the champ for the NWF, I mean, if I hurt him, then he's going to be in the hospital. So I can't do that. I was kind of surprised, though, Ricky, when we met. Like, I knew you were taller, but I thought, my God, you look taller than I thought. Like,
I also wear Jordans most of the time, and Jordans give you about another little bit of height on. So I was probably taller than I looked.
Oh, maybe so. And Nathan was saying you gained all this just recently.
Yeah, Nathan says that. I don't realize it.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed you're filling out more in your arms and your upper body part.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I've been working on it. You know, that was something I feel like I'm obviously still.
I mean,
lacking
you're still not defined, but you're
yeah,
bulking up more.
I'm no Hulk Hogan. Just yet.
I was gonna say too. The thing with Ricky has an advantage with the drop kick over me in one way, and this is only because
Oh, here we go again. I know exactly what he's. He's longer.
He's got longer legs and higher. His hip is higher. Like he's more legs. I'm less legs. That's a huge advantage when it comes to the drop kick. I mean, think about it, because you're already up higher, so it gives you a big advantage. So that's probably an extra 3 or 4 inches you're getting just out of that alone.
And that's an extra excuse that you've made about the drop kick now.
And oh my gosh, look at this. Mickey, $100.
Whoa.
His for Canary for Visa, and also Crusher for all the love as well to go towards a Visa. Well, thank you very much, Mickey. Gosh, that's very
much
generous.
Appreciated. That's, again, we really appreciate the support.
I mean, that's incredible. $100. Wow. Wow, that's so generous.
We really appreciate the support. Like that's unbelievable. Thank you very much.
And don't feel obligated, everybody. And I never push super chats, but I definitely appreciate it when you do.
We appreciate when it happens, but you don't have to do that. But again, it's awesome. Thank you very much, Mickey.
Yeah, thank you. And let's see. Mitch says, Crusher, do you want to see my training up close? You know where I am. You don't want to
see my training up close, he said.
Oh, Crusher, you don't want to see my training up close. Well, I see. By the way, I didn't show it, but Mitch went in there and threw a drop kick too.
Mitch did go in there for a drop kick, and he can still go. Mitch says that he's afraid to bump because of health risks, but he pulled out a drop kick in front of about 12 people, just on no camera. Well, there was on a camera, but it wasn't for a show. Mitch, you're fine. Get back in the ring, you 50-year-old. Come on, middle-aged man, stop faking retirement. You're fine.
Yeah, just firing back at you. He says this is only so many letters in each post. There was no room for the parenthesis. So take that.
That's a tongue twister right there.
Yeah.
Honestly, it sounds like an excuses gadget. Maybe just don't use parentheses if you don't know how to use parentheses. Also, one correction about your post: you used the end parentheses, but you never did a start parentheses. So, how about you?
It sounds like the smart ass heel Canary's coming back again here, guys.
I'm just a man for grammar. I study literature. It's just something I have to,
let's see,
call out.
And then Mitch says, or Mickey, the Time Lord says, it is my pleasure. I wanted to do that because you all deserve it. Well, thank you very much. And I know that
appreciate it, Mickey.
And I also want to thank Gizmo again. Gizmo gave us a real generous donation for Christmas, and it was very nice of him to do that.
Yes,
I want to point that out again. Yeah,
we have a great fan base,
Yeah, that was cool. And but no, I mean, like, you know what? The coolest thing for me in this whole experience of what we just did, first and foremost, was meeting everybody in person. That is top priority for me. That's like, because we've become friends, and so to be able to meet these guys in person, not just Ricky, all of them, like John and everybody, Mitch, Nathan, Sage. The guy with all the tattoos, that guy looks like somebody you would not want to meet in a back alley, and he's nothing like that. So,
he's Sage is a gentleman.
And, and all these guys, and I wish I forgot to get a picture with Crooks, and I need to do that next time I come. I got a picture with everybody, I think, but Crooks. And maybe Brandon Jenkins and Half Dan, but.
Yeah,
but those guys, they made me feel so welcomed. That was really cool. I enjoyed it. And it was just cool to get into it again. And I was going to say, that was what Nathan does. He makes you, part of why Nathan wants me to come back and do a match is because he knows how I feel, because he's, when you're in this business and then you get away from it, the feeling, and he knows that feeling. Nathan does. So he knows how I really feel. So he wants to give me that opportunity to do it if I want to,
Yeah.
And that's really cool, because not everybody's like that in this business. Not everybody would want to do that for you. That's all caring. Nathan thinks, he probably doesn't hear it enough, but he really looks out for everybody.
Yeah.
you know.
For the
So,
most part.
I mean, well, you'll have your differences and arguments and stuff and difference of opinions. I mean, I know I've heard all this arguments you guys have had, but you know, but I think he has his best intentions for you.
Yeah.
All you guys.
Although he's wrong a lot, he's right sometimes.
That can be said for you too.
I'm never wrong.
Let's see. Some more comments are coming in.
Full of comments today. It's really helpful.
All right. So Mickey says, the wrestling I got to see on the videos and even in the rewinds, that is stuff I love and gives me a smile on my face. But remember, rewind is looking back at us, and it's not always the best. Some of that stuff, and I'm not even showing you everything. If I showed you the real early stuff in the mattresses in the basement, which you can see part of that on the DVD of the documentary somebody mentioned.
Yeah, it was Mickey mentioned the documentary.
I mean, I would be the one getting up and getting off camera, like Ricky did when we showed his early stuff.
We need to talk about that. We don't need to talk about it.
So yeah, it's just like I can't even. I know everybody likes seeing it because it was the beginning, but
it's also funny.
I like it when we get polished and stuff and we start getting better. But it seems like the stuff they like the most is when we were more younger and not knowing what we were doing.
So it's funnier to watch.
I guess. I mean, well, they always say, Nathan said too, they just probably like seeing the progression. And he's right.
Yeah.
So let's see. Smile on my face. Okay, and then this comment from Mass Movies says, be like Sting coming back only to do tag matches, less bumps for you. Yeah, it's talking about me going. But see, that's the thing, though. Ricky knows this about me. I'm not interested in doing that kind of match. If I'm going to come back, I want to try to do just about everything I could before.
Crusher's coming back like, prime Kurt Angle. He's going to be doing stage dives and everything.
I mean,
From
there might
per
be
Crusher.
a little bit of setbacks, but I have to do everything. But I want to try to do as much as I can.
Yeah.
All I know is if I do come back, whoever I work with, if I can just spend a day or two with them in the ring,
TLC match.
we'll get it worked out. I could get it all worked out.
You can get in a Hell in a Cell, Crush.
A Hell in a Cell.
You can
So did you honestly think I wouldn't be able to do a drop kick still?
Not to that level. I thought you'd have a drop kick like someone who is like still learning a drop kick. So I felt like you'd hit it low, like in the gut.
Really low.
Which is something we get a lot of people like learning to do drop kicks, but nah, you haven't lost your vertical leap.
No, I mean it's just the only thing I wasn't sure how I was going to feel is the landing. And Dave was asking me like, because this is the first time I was in a flexi steel ring. He's like, how did you compare that to our breakdown rings? And the breakdown rings were a more comforting bump because it worked for everybody. Where I can see with these flexi steel rings, if you're a smaller guy, you're not going to get as much flex out of it. So it's not going to give you as much. Where when you had the spring, you always got the spring. So you always got the absorption of the bump. So it's like, I like the breakdowns better, but I suppose it's flexi steel is so much easier to set up and tear down. The breakdown rings there was more parts, more nuts and bolts and everything.
Oh yeah.
All right, here's more comments now. Yeah, seeing the progression, so what is very cool. And it is like home movies or like 80s territories wrestling. Yeah, well, that's what we were influenced by, Mickey. It was the territory days then, so we were doing this same kind of stuff. Everything we do on NWF back then was what we were influenced by at the time. So even a lot of our storylines were stuff we took from the big leagues, modified them a little bit. Now you think of it though, like I was being so critical with Ricky and Ben of no closed fist being all by the rules. Hell, in my matches, I would do the bolo punch for Christ's sake. I would, if you're getting him in a headlock and this
headlocking into
wind up, boom, right? That's a closed fist. I did that all the time, and so I don't know. I'm trying to think how I could do that without a fist. Maybe hit it with a forearm. I want to still be able to do it.
You could do palm strike.
Oh, palm. Yeah, that would work.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to do that move. That was one of my famous moves. Let's see. Mixed Baxter Crusher. If there's a chance you will come back and have one more match then that will make me feel like there must be one more match in me somewhere. Maybe we're talking about the same match. Are you thinking Crusher versus Mitch Baxter?
Retirement home, pro wrestling, walking cane on a pole match.
But remember, Mitch, you were telling me when we were out eating, Mitch and I ate like kings that last day I was there.
Oh, yeah.
We went and had I think we had breakfast and 2 lunches. And
That was funny.
anyways, he was saying, he goes, it's too many issues with his knees and whatever else that he's concerned with that if he didn't. So I don't, Mitch, I wouldn't want to cripple the commissioner of NIPW is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to I'd cripple Canary, I'd cripple John McCann or whoever else I get in the ring with. I don't want to have to cripple the commissioner. So I'm just saying. Right?
Sounds like an excuse. Sounds like you're afraid of Big Mitchy B, the 200 pounds of bad attitude.
Well, if I'm not afraid of you, why the hell would I be afraid of him?
I'll take that as a compliment because Mitch Baxter's a scary guy.
But he's, shall I say it? Midget Mitch?
Yep, that's his nickname that he gets.
He didn't want to hear that, though. Let's see.
Signs and everything.
Sports Talk says, when did you show Ricky's early matches? I am sure we would all love to see Ricky's early days so you can appreciate how far he has come.
You know what?
You should be proud of your beginnings. It shows heart.
You know what? Do you have one of my first matches still saved? I remember I gave you it in a Google Drive when I first came on. If you want, you can put on one of my old training matches.
Well, you were talking about the very first one?
One of the two, either or.
Yeah,
I sent you my first 2.
Yeah, let me see. I think I do.
We might have it on the Google Drive. You know what? May as well entertain you because this will be my last forward for a while anyway. So
no,
have a little bit of fun.
I have it on my computer now. Because I everything that you gave me, I put in a directory with your name. So I'll see what I got here. Let's see.
Just sit tight and you'll get to see the young Canary before he was even going by Canary, and he was still just little 14-year-old Ricky in a wrestling ring. About 2 months in. Depends on the match, actually. The match actually might be like 2 weeks in, but depends.
Okay, I got to look at the... make sure I find the right one here. Let's see. Not any of those.
But the Sports Talk, by the way, the one I walked out on wasn't a match. It was actually one of my old promos that I do not give permission to be shown again because it could be one of my least favorite things about pro wrestling, and my digital footprint really shows. It's rough. You don't want to see it.
Oh, you know what? I think I know where it is because that was back when I had it on the live stream content when I kept it on this other drive. So it's in clips.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Trouble is I don't know which one's which. These are Canary matches. Yeah, I'm gonna preview them first before I bring them in, just to make sure. All right.
We're only watching one, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we're not going for the whole library.
No, I know, but I got to get to the right one, because I don't want to bring in the wrong one. Let's see, live stream content clips, and then let's see which one this is. Okay, that's John McCann. That's Ricky and John. When you had the yellow tights. This one, it's more of that. Which one are you looking for that you want me to bring in?
Preferably the singles match because there's more of actually me.
Singles of who you're wrestling though?
Patrick Patterson, I think it was like me on my like 1 or 2 months.
Oh, you want that one?
That one.
I know where that one is.
That's cherished.
Yeah.
It's in the museum, the NWF museum.
Okay, now that I know you want that one, I can easily get that. Let's see, because I just did that one.
By the way, guys, this isn't me saying this with pride. This is actually awful. Horrendous to watch.
I go in a directory called early footage. Here we are.
Oh god, here we go.
Ding, ding.
So yeah, this is young. I'll turn the audio down some here. There we go. Get that down so we can hear us. So yeah, look at. I like the tights. I don't know what the hell that is. Is that like shorts and what the hell are those pants you're wearing, Ricky?
I literally just got a pair of tights, and they just had designs on them. It wasn't like custom made. It was just off Amazon.
Okay, so you just
I
bought 'em.
just wore them in the training, yeah.
He's got the pipe cleaner arms at this point. At least your arms have beefed up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you know.
I'm surprised though. Ricky's staying in for this. When we showed this last time, he had to bounce out.
No, I had to bounce out of the promo.
Well, the promos, yeah. You know, some of this isn't bad. I think the arm drags you took were fine.
No,
It's that clothesline at the end
that's horrendous.
it's like that's a fine. That's nothing wrong with that.
Could be better. I'm also just not selling.
No, I like the drop toe hold, but why didn't he go into like a? I would have went into a leg lock.
Cause that would slow it down.
1, 2.
This comeback is meant to be fast, and yeah, it's terrible. 2 months in, if even, might have been less.
You'll notice the name that Nathan's calling him in there is Prancer. When you hear him say Prancer, he's talking to Ricky.
There you go.
Right there. Do you want to explain why they call you Prancer? I know.
Yes, I'll explain why we ignore this.
There's that clothesline.
Prancer was because when I used to go for lockups, I used to like skip into it, and Nathan said I was quote prancing about like Prancer the reindeer. Of course, it was around Christmas time that he did this, and I was only a couple, like 2 weeks in, and he made fun of my, you know, everything I was doing.
I've just noticed your turnbuckle pads are the long ones here, like the boxing.
Yeah.
ones. It's
Oh my
interesting.
God. Back in the early days of NIPW, when it was just NXG wrestling, and we had the long pads. That was something.
But yeah,
But,
that wasn't. I mean, you missed the clothesline, and it was rough here and there, but it wasn't. I mean, believe me, that's still better than what we were and when we had no training.
Yeah,
So
that's just rough watch. It's also funny. You see when I'm like celebrating at the end, like I put one, or have one foot in the middle, and I go put one on the top. I have on the top, and you literally hear someone go, "Careful." That just shows how like untrustworthy I was that early on. Meanwhile, now I was getting told by Nathan that not to be doing springboards.
and Ricky, let me bring in just one of your early promos so they can kind of see.
I
what
will
you're doing.
walk away.
But which one do you want me to bring in? I'll let you choose.
None of them.
Just one of them because they want to see
None
it.
of them.
How about the one where you called out John McCann? That was a good one.
Is that with the green screen?
It's just you saying,
No.
John, there's a new kid in town.
Unless it's the green screen, then no.
Why you have that one too? Do you want to see that one?
The green screen I'll take. I'll handle the green screen. That one's okay.
Whoops, sorry, that's the
That
same
is
one.
not the promo.
I gotta get it. But whoops. Yeah, I'll get it here. I gotta get rid of something off the stage that'll make room.
This is less cringeworthy than like every other promo I ever did at this time period.
All right, video.
Green screen I'm
form.
okay with.
Yeah, the green screen.
Green
promo.
screen was the most scripted promo I've ever done in my entire career.
I believe it's this one.
Like this was word for word. I wrote this down before doing it.
I think it's this one.
And got it approved by. See if you put up the wrong one.
The Canary Kid swoops in the NXT with a dream to achieve, a point to prove, and an opponent to defeat. That opponent is John McCann. And John, I have just one question for you. Can you fight the flight? You'll just have to wait and see. Be there at NXT Wrestling All Stars to see a childhood dream come true.
A little smile at the end. But you know the thing is, your problem is what we talked about all the time, right?
So
You
fast.
just rattled through it, right? You didn't give any, like now when we do, by the way, that table flip thing that we did, that whole segment was the best promo work you've ever done that I've ever seen out of you ever. by the way.
It was something. That was
That
great
was
promo work.
the
I was
best.
happy with it. Thank you very much. It was a lot of fun.
It was the best.
Um,
That whole segment, like I've watched it several times and I'm entertained with it every time. You know, it's just because you were in a heated. It felt real. It felt like you were really into this conflict.
and yeah, again, to pull up the curtain, me and Ben just hugged each other and laughed at the end of it. We did not take any of that seriously.
The only thing is, I had this whole thing planned to have them look at each other, and then I was gonna start bringing their emotions, their friendships in. And when I had them look at each other, I'm looking at
That
Ricky.
was
And he's
the worst
losing
idea you ever had.
well, I didn't know you were gonna break character and laugh when you
Me
stared
and
at
Ben
Ben.
can't look at each other when we're trying to be serious. We just laugh.
You know, tell me about it. When I'm doing the podcast with Nathan, that Ben's in my line of sight, and every time I'm doing stuff, he's mocking me purposely to try to make me laugh.
Me and Ben were trying to break people. I think we broke John at one point. And he just looked down because we got him at one point. Me and Ben were also laughing the whole time through Nathan and John's, but just really quietly. Like I had my head in my shirt because you'd give us a talk, being like, "We cannot hear you in the background. Like, make sure you guys don't." I was like, "Right, okay." So I sat there with my head in my shirt because I was crying with laughter. Because when you get told not to laugh, it's hard to laugh. Like you're going to laugh now.
But I don't know. I don't know. If I would have known that, I would have never even went that way. But
Me and as soon as you said it, I was like, I've been doing so well, it's gonna break me. And I look over and Ben is laughing already with his head down. I
But
couldn't
then
do it.
when I realized that, I didn't push it anymore. I
You didn't
just
push forward. You
because
realize, oh, that's what
I
I
knew
did.
that wasn't gonna work. But the idea was to make you look at each other and then really start having you think about your friendship when you're staring at each other.
Even in the handshake and the match, you see us laugh.
Yeah, you smiled. I don't know about Ben.
I smiled and Ben was laughing with his head down. He just didn't. He hid it from the camera. I didn't hide it.
But yeah, so they didn't know, by the way, who was gonna win until the day of. I mean, you kind of had an idea from Nathan saying something to you,
Mm-hmm.
but like for the most part, though, we didn't announce it till the day of, and so it's like, and when because I told Rick, Rick, you'd let me know when you guys know right away, right? And so he
Mhm.
said, he goes, yep. So we know, and I said, so then I went because I knew what was going to happen, so I took a walk with Ben, like I told you I was going to do, and we took a walk down the alley or whatever. And I told him, I said, Ben, you got to realize this is just one match. I said, you're eventually gonna get this belt at some point down the line. I don't know when, but it's gonna happen. So he goes, I know, I'm fine. Ben, I said, Ben, you're talking to me. I know how it feels. This is a title belt. You can try to put up that facade, but I know what you're going through right now.
Yeah.
And so you don't have to put the act on for me. I just want you to know, though, that you were in the conversation just as much as Ricky. And so
that's why, even at the end of the match, that's why I apologize, because I didn't want it's hard when you really want someone to do well, because I really want Ben to do well in this, and I want him to get all these opportunities, but then I was the reason he didn't get a championship. I was like, I was so happy that I won, and a little bit of me was like, oh, I wish I could have given that to Ben.
Yeah.
Well,
Ben, this was Ben kind of pitched this idea to me originally, which got me the courage to go ask Nathan, because I didn't know how Nathan was going to feel about all this.
Yeah.
And one thing that's kind of cool with me and Nathan now is because of all this, I've now have got another friend with Nathan, in that we always now we chat with each other regularly, and he likes to think that he told me the other day, he goes, it's nice to have somebody to bounce things off of. All I got is his wife.
His wife, yeah.
That's her name, but
so that's how Nathan's rankings in life go. Now he has his wife, now he has Crush.
Well, I mean, because I can be like a third. I'm not vested. I can just listen
you can be
to
an outside third party.
Yeah, just an outside third party perspective.
Yeah.
You need somebody like that in your life when shit's going, when shit's getting heavy.
Mm-hmm.
We got some more comments in here. All right, so this is from Gizmo. He said, Ricky, I want you to give us an honest answer. If you had a real match with Crusher now, do you honestly think you would beat him?
Yep. Yeah. Because right now I'm a young, energetic spring chicken. Although Crusher still has it that little bit. Eh.
Well, if we're talking like if we were talking a shoot match,
Oh, then yeah, I definitely win. Yeah.
good luck there, because I know how to get out of that shit and I know how to reverse things and
Mm-mm.
everything. So, and it would be a
No.
submission. It'd be turned into a
Shoot.
submission match. Is what
The
it'd
shoot
be.
match would not go well. We've got Crusher with his little fanboy Ireland top on, his Stevie Feast signed autograph hat. And then you've got me, who has a small bit of history in some sort of combat sport in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I'm putting money on me against Crush. Like,
All I can say, folks, is Generation X. Need I say more? So,
oh, don't be one of them old people who are like Gen X, Gen
well,
X against Gen Z.
Gen X
you
was the
know,
tough generation. We grew up fighting.
Gen X is not a tough generation. All I have to go is I have to go to a Gen X person and just say the word pronouns and watch them lose their mind. These are a very sensitive generation.
Yeah, you guys just have to stop eating Tide Pods. But have you ever heard that? That's supposed to be our comeback for you guys. Stop eating Tide Pods. Let's see. We'll get rest of the questions. No, but I mean, no, honestly, if I do a match again, I don't care who goes over at this point, and I don't really want to go over. I just want to have a match. So I don't get into the whole. I wouldn't be like concerned about who's going over. That would be my bigger concern would be making sure the match is going to be good. So
we could have Crusher Hogan, putting Nathan aside, being like, that John guy's on a roll, but it doesn't work for me. It's not going to happen tonight. I'm willing to do business, but if I hear one Crusher Maniac in the crowd, all bets are off.
I will say this, the one thing that Ricky does struggle with, and I don't know why, is he doesn't like any idea of beating me up, like in any scenario. I'm not sure why, if it's an elder thing or what, but he just doesn't like the idea of that.
Are you talking about the Mitch promo idea? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Mitch promo. And
the Mitch promo idea wasn't a thing about beating you up. It was because I was happy with where I was at right there. We didn't need to do the heel.
Well, Mitch is like, while he's still here, we could do something, And he's right. We could have filmed something that night.
Time. You also almost spoiled. That's another thing that Crusher almost spoiled on Rewind. We spoke, and there's nothing for sure yet. We spoke about possible plans in regards to my character when I come back from Canada, and you can see yourself visibly cut yourself off because you almost spilled the entire concept that we came up with in the restaurant.
I don't think I did.
You cut yourself off.
If I was, I don't think I was going there. I don't remember talking about that ever. I don't even remember how that conversation went. To be honest with you, I was so mesmerized by he won't beat me up. Why? And I told John this. I said, John, if we ever do a match, are you going to have that problem? Because I want to get my ass kicked if that's the way we're going to go. But John says, no. If I'm a heel and that it ever came to that, there wouldn't be any problems.
John just wants this match to kick your ass. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. He. I'll tell you something. Keep. You guys want to stay tuned in our next few shows when John comes on, because rumor has it he's got a problem right now. So we'll see what he has to say.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Let's see. Sports Talk says that was a really good match for the early days. He's talking about that training one. Now let's see Crusher's basement battle. If you want to laugh, we're not watching the basement battles.
I want to see what's the basement battle. I don't know the basement battle, so I really need to be enlightened.
That's like 14 years old on bed mattresses. And
oh, come on, Crush!
I don't think I even have it. I don't even have it available.
Oh, how convenient, guys! Crush doesn't have it.
I mean, you've seen clips of it in the documentary, but you have it, and if you ever get that DVD to play,
I don't have a DVD player, so I'll look in the DVD player for you, Crush.
And that's the other thing. I've given him several T-shirts. I mean, really good T-shirts too, like 5-time, and 5-time champ.
That ended up on a dartboard, and I think that got ripped out.
And I've yet to get a Canary Kid T-shirt. I don't know. I don't know why. I got a Stevie Fee hat.
I don't give things away for free. You have to pay for them.
So, in other words, I should send you a bill for mine then. Okay, I see how it is.
Too late. I don't pay for trash.
Tom Begley says, if you could wrestle anyone in NIPW in your prime, who would you choose? I think he's asking me.
Yeah, I don't.
Canary for sure.
Yeah,
Canary. That's first. Then John McCann. After that, D.D. Crooks. And then who else? I'm trying to think of the rest of the roster.
There's Jordan, there's Ben, there's
Oh.
Sage, there's Samson, there's
All those guys would be fun.
Ken.
Ben
Brandon.
and Jordan too. But I just Canary, John, and Crooks. Those are like my top 3. If I was in my prime. Mm-hmm. Then we'd have a dropkick showdown then.
That's what the whole match would be. Just be dropkick after dropkick so you can get higher.
God, I'd never seen it done, but wouldn't it be cool to see 2 people dropkick each other at the same time? Like kind of how you do the cross body block that doesn't work.
How could they hit each other at the same time?
Well, you drop kick each other and you hit each other in the chest in midair. Could be done.
Could it?
Sure could.
I don't see the logic.
I think it'd be cool to see.
I don't think that's actually physically possible with how your body goes on a dropkick to hit someone on a chest.
Well, it would be like a miss. Like you both do it and you'd miss.
Oh yeah, both miss. Yeah, that's already
Yeah.
gets done all the time. We do
And
that all
he'll
the
go
time
by
in
the
training
side.
for drills.
Well, not just a miss drop kick, but both going for a drop kick, so you kind of go by each other, kind of like, So here's a comment. Look at this. This is Professor Badfellow. He says, I just spoke with Mick Weller in New South Wales. He wanted me to relay a message to you all. Crusher Crossen is a big jabroni as ever. That bloke couldn't even wrestle. That bloke couldn't even wrestle a wet noodle. Yeah, this is Mick. This is Mick Weller himself, everybody, one of our managers back in the NWF. It's no surprise he's saying this. That's who that is.
Couldn't even wrestle a wet noodle.
Yeah, Mick Weller under the disguise of Professor Badfellow. And then Tony Begley says, could we ever see the NWF title outside of NIPW wrestling? Well, that's the whole idea.
It's not linked.
What's that?
It's not like
It's not
NIPW.
tied. And the idea is for Canary to get out there and start defending at other places. We're talking like Mitch the Kid, Full Tilt Wrestling right now. We're talking about maybe going down to Portugal again, doing something there. Canada, maybe, if you can make something work. Canary's going to have to be a pitch man to do that, but maybe he can,
Yeah.
maybe he can make something happen.
I'll be at DiCaprio and Wolf of Wall Street when I get over to Canada, don't worry.
And then, and if I ever can get him over here, or whoever has the belt over here, I mean, I have enough contacts with people where I think I could get him on a show. It just has to be like the right timing, like not now. Like we'd have to time it better.
Mm-hmm.
And they're still in school. You still got another year to go in school, don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, so that'll be on their school schedule. Like we might be able to work something out when he's on like a break for a week or whatever, and we could get him over during, not have to wait for the summer. But that all has to be kind of planned out. But like my idea is if I could get him over here, there's so many different, like we got Officer Smalls. I've talked to him already about it. He's interested for sure. I think Global Fire Drake would be an awesome matchup for you.
That'd be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Joe would be able to do this as long as I flip the bill to get you over. So yeah, there's things we're talking about, but like we have to. It's all going to be dependent, and maybe Canary loses the belt, maybe Ben's the champ, or maybe John's the champ, or maybe Mitch the Kid beats him up. I mean, who knows?
That won't happen.
And then let's see this comment here. Crusher, is your younger matches on your old DVD of the month club? I have all the old DVDs. No, I have that stuff. It's not readily available to bring in for the stream. I mean, you guys really want to see that? Do you want me to bring in just a glimpse of it? I guess. And I'm going to take it off so fast it's going to make your head spin. I really don't like seeing this. Let's see. Canary. Just shut up though. Don't even say it.
This is the Crusher in his prime that we've been talking about.
Let me see here.
For those who haven't watched the Crusher match yet, this is the prime Crusher we speak about.
All right, let me find it. Basement footage. That's what it's called.
I'm ready for this. I've never seen this stuff before.
Oh, what should we look at? Oh boy. All right, here we go. I'm gonna probably forward it through to get to the match itself because it's gonna be introductions and music and shit. So
Yeah.
Didn't it come in? Oh, I must have did it wrong. Video file. Try it again. Why isn't it coming? Oh, let me try it again. Oh, these are movies. Let's see. All right. Maybe I can't get that one in. I'll have to try this other one. Because these movie files don't seem to want to play. Let's see. I know how I can do it. I'll do it a different way. Hang on. I'll play it from my player. I don't know why it doesn't want to bring them in regularly, but I can do it this other way. Raw. Oh, wait a minute. I know what I'm going to do. I got a better way to do it. Can I? Yeah, I can still bring it in. So video file. I'm going to go into. All right, I'll go to Vimeo or YouTube previews or shorts. Let's see, I guess this. MP4s, yeah, this will work. Only thing is, it's gonna have to. It's gonna be everything. Well, I'll get to the part where I'm trying to get to. All right, here we go. Jesus. Oh boy.
Yep.
Okay, I gotta fast forward to this shit.
Yes, folks. You see it? The kids, Quad Cities Pro Wrestling. I love it, folks.
Oh my god.
This is,
All right, let me get to where there's wrestling
No,
or
sorry,
somewhat.
one of the shows,
Let's see.
and first, stop. I have to bring out our usual saying before
How can I fast
You would
forward
like
this?
to appear on this very ring.
Oh, here it is. All right, here's early Crusher. Jesus Christ. Oh boy. Yeah, this is how we started.
What a shot! And he looks like he's right, but here
We
comes
always
Mike.
use the
He
dresser.
gets off the top. Oh, what a hit! He bounces all over, and Sean's in pain, obviously. But Mike's gonna go after him again while Sean's down. Oh, what a hit!
There'd be somebody outside clapping to make the noise.
Oh, Sean's in pain.
can
He's
see that.
down. But here he comes again. Oh, he must be in serious pain.
At least Mike has a
Sean's
wrestling
getting
singlet on.
angry. Mike's
Oh, is he
taunting him,
amateur wrestler?
but Sean gets
Ah,
up.
we just
He's
had
ready.
him.
Oh.
You know.
Wants
Yeah, I
blood.
think he might have been.
Come on, he
We'd
grabs
always
him.
use.
Oh,
Yeah, see, this is like
Sean's
4
in
mattresses, and
serious
that's what we'd
pain.
wrestle on for like the first 4
But
shows. It was
he's
this.
gonna get back at him when we all know it. Oh, he gets Mike.
Closed
And
fist.
Mike's down. Oh, he misses him with a.
Yeah, I'll show you how we did
slam.
blood. We'll fast forward a little bit more.
And they're both in
'Cause I believe I start bleeding in this match.
Bleeding.
Yeah, blood was a big thing. Like you always wanted to have, because that's the matches we always watched. Let's see. I think I
Oh,
got
here
blood.
comes the suitcase.
Yeah, I got blood on my forehead. See that?
Yeah, how's that from?
Oh,
He threw me into
and
the
there's
wall.
pain in the Crusher's
Like, how'd you get the blood?
How much more
Oh,
can
it
he
was
take?
liquid soap and red food coloring,
But he almost gets him in the Indian
and it stained
Teflon
like a bitch. It
there.
was hard to wash off.
And here he comes. He brings it. Oh, and he's must
Yeah,
be
we'd
out
hide
of
the
his
little blood
pain.
packets. Like I'm grabbing one
Mike
right
has
now,
been dominating most of the game, but the Crusher's
So I'm gonna
getting
hit him
the
with
first hits.
and then I
Here
get
he
blood on
goes.
him.
What is
That's
he
how he gets
doing?
blood.
He's hitting him in the head, I think. Oh, this is a vicious fight.
Yeah, this is
And Mike's
bad.
defenseless.
All right, we've watched enough.
I'm not done. This is amazing.
Boxes, anything.
Oh,
anything
not
is
the-
a,
not
anything
the-
is a foreign object.
What
The
a
steel
fight. This
box.
is now Mike's bleeding.
Well, there's usually-
Oh, this is one of the best fights I have ever
You talk about me
Here's
and
my
Ben
drop.
laughing
Here's
at
my
each other.
drop kick. See my drop kick? Was
I'm
it?
just saying, you talk about me and Ben can't take each other seriously. You and Mike are laughing at each other while like
I
bleeding all
know.
over the place.
I know, and I'm gonna see if I can find like the foreign objects that, like, yeah, look at this metal. I don't know what the hell that was that he's got. A crib from a crib, some metal.
Yes, he
Or like a
is.
baby stopper.
Like, yeah, it's like for a crib, like a spring thing.
No! John's begging for mercy.
I think he doesn't hit me with it. But yeah, we've seen enough. I'm taking this out, guys. Goodbye. Yeah, basement shit.
That's amazing.
That was bad. See, Ricky, as bad as you think it was for you, it was worse for me.
I mean, I didn't have that sort of blood on my matches. I'm just saying that.
Well, no, I know you think it's weird that we wanted to bleed, but like back in the 80s, that was a big deal, having blood in a match. Like, he's busted open. He got busted open. So we wanted to do the same.
Yeah.
You know. So that's all. That's all that is. Just what we were influenced by. So there you go, Gizmo. A little bit of that. E-Balls 93. Hey guys, up to the Pots and Pans FC. But my question is, Canary Kid, do you plan on beating Paul Teresi in Canada?
So yeah, so for E-Balls 93, the Pots and Pans Football Club.
Oh, that's what that is. Football club.
Yeah, it's a local football club. Yeah, big up to the Pots and Pans. And yeah, when I go to Canada and I face Paulo Triassi, simply put, I do plan on beating Paulo Triassi, because if you look back at our first match, he got the better of me for, blindsiding me with the referee. And, if that's what he has to do to beat me, I don't fall for the same trick twice. I'm a lot of things, but one thing the Canary Kid is not, I'm not thick. I don't fall for that stuff twice.
What is exactly? You said it in the podcast. What is it? That's a new generation thing. So explain to me. What does it mean when you're thick?
That's not a new generation thing. That's just an Ireland thing, I think.
Okay, maybe it's an Ireland thing. So what does
Thick
it mean?
thick just means being like
You're
being a
being
bit dumb.
thick. You're
being
being
a bit
thick.
dumb.
Being dumb.
Yeah, I would say that.
I thought it meant being dramatic.
No.
Because the way you said it to Ben was like you're just being over dramatic. Like you're being
No.
thick.
Are you
Okay.
thick? No, I'm not. Like you're being thick. Yeah, going into a match with an injury was being thick. It's a dumb thing to do. But yeah, I feel like I can get the best of Paulo despite him having the experience over me. I feel like my talent just outshines his experience.
Yeah. I mean, and then you're going against the same guy again, and I don't know if the NWF belt will be on the line with all that, or his belt's going to be on the line, or how it's going to work. But I'd hate to see you lose the NWF belt to the guy in Canada.
Well, that's the thing. I don't intend on losing to Paulo. I believe that I'm more than capable of beating Triassi. I absolutely took the guy to his limit, and that was before I even won the world title. Never mind after winning the world title.
So let's talk about that. So how does it feel? We haven't really even talked about that. So how does it feel to win the world? This is your first world title, right?
Yeah.
Second championship. How does it feel for you?
It feels great, having that bit of storage space filled up again. It's been a while, and yeah, it's fun. Having the title again, it's good to have around. Already I had a great memory with it when going around to Nando's and Greg's, going out with the championship was fun. I took probably my favorite picture of my wrestling career with Jordan and Stevie. With that championship and stuff. So the championship it's already collecting memories, and I think there's many more. I'm about to travel across the world with it, so it feels great. It's amazing to have it.
And for us, and I know I speak for Ace and Kelsey and even Steve, Mr. X. I mean, that's just nothing but it just makes us feel really very proud to see that belt on you right now. Once again, seeing that blue belt out there, as it should be. So, and like I said, I mean, that drop kick's the perfect example of what I talk about when I talk about being cutting edge. I don't think I've ever seen that done in a match. I mean, I might be wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen somebody drop kick somebody coming off the second rope. So that's pretty special. Tony Begley says, dedication started from the bottom. Now we here work with what you have. Yeah, I mean, that's it. And I understand that, like Ricky's training match, that basement shit, you got to start somewhere. I get it, but there's so much more. Ricky's so much more lucky than we were because he got trained right away. We had to go through 2 years of that, trying to figure it out and actually do a fucking actually do a freaking armory card without having any training under our belts with 350 fans showing up. Right. So, and we still weren't trained yet, but I felt we were ready enough for that. And, but then once we did get the proper training and I knew you see, Eddie Sharkey is not an idiot. Like here's what he's seen. When he's seen Eddie's doing bar shows pretty much right now at the time we did our armory where he's drawing 50 people maybe. And we just did 300 plus. And Eddie heard this. He's like, because the first thing that Eddie came out of Eddie's mouth when I met him is like, you and me, we got to do an event together sometime. It's the first thing coming out of his mouth. So that's already in his head. So he wanted in on our attraction, but at the same time, he wanted to polish us up. That's why he gave me free training. That's why he spent 6 months training me, because he wanted me to bring it back to all of us. It's just he's very smart that way. Mm-hmm. So that way, when we did do the event 6 months later, we were ready for that with him, at his level, So anyways, Nast Movies says, has Ricky ever bled in any of his matches? Not juicing. No. I don't think you've ever juiced.
No, definitely not. I've never had a major bleed. I might have had I feel like there's been matches where I bit my lip or something, there's a tiny bit of blood. I remember.
Didn't John kick you in the face or something?
Yeah, he did, but I didn't bleed.
He had a big fat lip though, right?
Oh, that wasn't on a show. That was in a seminar the day before my second ever match, and John hit me a senton, which for those who don't know, he jumps back first on my chest, and his elbow came down like that, and just right there on the lip.
Yeah.
Lip went purple and just swell up. But no, never major bleeding in any of my matches. I don't need to. No one can hit me hard enough.
And here's a comment from Callum Blunt. Canary, it's your favorite restaurant manager here. When we going to go bird for the masses here? Oh, I think I know who this is.
Yes. So Mr. Blunt.
I didn't get my picture with him either.
Callum Blunt?
Yeah.
You got a picture of Callum Blunt.
I did, but I didn't. Not one with just me and him.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, Callum Blunt. Yeah, sure. When you debut, I'm more than happy to go one-on-one with you. I don't know if you have some sort of, maybe because I'm the Canary Kid, maybe you're going for the Magpie Man or something because you're saying bird for bird. So maybe there's a bird gimmick in the lineup. So look out for that, guys. New debutant coming to NIPW. Callum Blunt, he's been working hard in training, so maybe the time's coming.
Yeah. And then I think we're caught up on the comments. Oh, wait, one more just came in. Tony Begley says, gonna go, but thanks for asking the questions. Good night. So, yeah.
Good night, Tony. We'll be wrapping up shortly anyway. We've been going for a while.
Yeah, we've been going for, holy cow, we've been going for a while. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we do need to wrap it up because I want to talk to Ricky before he goes off to Canada. So I guess we got through everything, guys. Here's one more comment. Actually, there's another one before that. Let me get this right. This one was first. Can you address the rumors of the tag team and the Scottish Kids? Anything about that? Of Canary Kid and Ian McInnes?
Yeah, Ian McInnes.
McInnes?
Yeah, very hardworking guy over at NIPW. He works really hard. And right now I'm not looking for a tag team partner. I'm happy with my singles run right now. But I'd be more than happy to start working with Ian and see if we could get going if the time came to it. Maybe the Scottish Kids could be a thing for the future. I love the Revolution. I think it's great. And, Ian's a great guy.
And then that's going to be it for comments, guys, because we're going to wrap the show up. I didn't realize we went so long. And then I just got to bring in what's coming up on the shows coming up, and then we're gonna wrap it up. So the next show we got is Wrestling Revolution Keaton. Hang on, right? It's gonna be Sunday, and we got this team. It's the father-son team, Jacko and Franco.
Yep.
Of Tag Team DNA. I'm looking forward to this. They follow me on Instagram and stuff, so I'm familiar with them. So yeah, this should. Oh wait, I got a comment. I thought I got rid of that. Hang on.
Yeah, Weeper TV. Just get that out of here.
There. So yeah, this is going to be a good one. That's going to be Sunday at a regular time with Kayfabe with Keaton show. And then next week, Dixie Dave and myself are going to Fred Moore Junior High, and that's the Ring from Hell boxing ring. And yeah, one of those. And they work, but they look like a ring, but they sure as hell don't work like one. And so that's Conan making his debut, doing that leg drop to Stenerson. That'll be a good show. Fred Moore was always fun. We didn't care. We were kids and we didn't give a shit that the ring didn't function right. We just were thrilled to be in what resembled a ring. And then the next Forward show, Canary Kid's going off to Canada. And so, as you can see, NWF Forward with Crusher, Crossen, and John McCann substituting for the Canary Kid, the Irish grappler. So that's going to be
good luck with that, guys.
And I said to John, I think Ricky not going to like you taking a spot on the thumbnail here.
Won't hit the same.
So yeah, John McCann coming in, and it should be a good show. And I'm looking forward to this.
Yep, a little bit less entertaining, but I'm sure it'll be a show, all right.
Yeah, not as entertaining as the mouth of Canary, that's for sure. All right, guys, we went way too long, so we're gonna wrap it up. I hope you enjoyed it. This is a long one, and but it's because Ricky's gonna be gone for 3 shows, so we had to get our say in.
Yeah.
And thanks again to Mickey. I mean, gave us a bunch of super chats, and I really appreciate that. And that was so generous. You didn't have to do that, and so we really do appreciate it. So thank you for that. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I'll be back next week Sunday with Keaton, and then next week with Dave, and then with John McCann in 2 weeks. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Good luck.